Yeah, I need to make that little title thing there a bit shorter, don't I? Goes on for a bit. Hey everyone, hello, welcome one and all to another last minute live stream. This, as you have noticed, is not Fallout Friday. Yeah, got a lot of building to do, so I figured I may as well sacrifice those and crack on with some building for the next few days until my game stream, just because I need to get stuff built. And I'll be cracking on with the Games Workshop Warhammer. I nearly said 40,000 then. Warhammer 8, nearly said Age of Sigmar. Good God, Fox, start again. Warhammer Horus Heresy Age of Darkness box set. And I've built this so far. It's slow going. I'm taking my time to make them look as good as possible. And it's a very slow progress. But yes, welcome one and all. We'll go for the next few hours while I crack on building some Space Marines. But yes, before we get going, big shout outs to all the people that make my content possible. First and foremost, at my channel sponsor, emodels.co.uk, your one-stop shop for all your model making needs. All of them, every single need you've got, they cater to all of them. Every single one, not a one will be missed. So make sure to go and check out the link in the description below for emodels.co.uk. They support this channel, they sponsor me, and they're lovely folks, so go and check them out. And of course, to my patrons and channel members who make all my content possible, they literally pay my wages. So big, massive hugs and thank you to them. If you want to become a patron or a channel member, you can go to either patreon.com/modelmakingguru, become a patron. There's an address just there. Or you can press the join button under any of my video content, and that will take you to the page where you can become a channel member. And there's a noise then. What was that noise? I don't know what that noise was. I've got the window open. You can become a channel member and support the channel directly. Either way, whichever one you choose, you get loads of freebies and exclusive content. You also get access to the live 24/7 video Zoom hangout. It's offline, but it's live. If not live on the internet, but live, you can hang out with people. Where all members and patrons of my channel and those of Fester over at Festi67's workshop channel can hang out and have a good time. And it's available 24/7. So go and check it out. Do consider becoming one or the other. I'll have a quick look at chat. He's the wrong way around. There's always one, isn't there? I'll have a quick look at chat and see who is in. We have now Box Fox Scoot was the first in earlier on, but that was hours ago. We have Wendy Hickson and both Wendy Hickson and Box Fox Scoots. Welcome to both of you two. Big hugs to you, Wendy. Candygram from Mongo. Jeff, our resident Carl Sagan. If you wish to make an apple pie from scratch, you must first invent the universe. Yeah, I'm glad that we don't have like a resident Richard Feynman, because I can't do Richard Feynman's voice. If it disagrees with experiment, it's wrong. I can't really do a New York accent. Where are we up to? Wendy Hickson, yes. Candygram, Jeff, yes. Paul Lewis is in. Welcome, afternoon, Foxbot and all in chat. Welcome, Paul. Why do you call me Foxbot? I don't quite get that. I don't get what that means, but not a problem. Welcome, Paul. I don't know what Foxbot means. Joseph Kelly made it. Age of Darkness, very topical, says Joseph Kelly. Yes, we live in an age of darkness. There is only war. So welcome to you, Joseph. We have Andy McLeish is in. I have some grim news. I spent 2.5 years dodging the bastard and I've been bitten by the chocolate velociraptor. Oh, sorry to hear that, buddy. Get well soon. Hopefully it passes you ever mildly. I haven't had it yet. Hopefully I won't. Me and Mama Fox we're still technically kind of shutting ourselves away, although not quite as vehemently and rabidly as we were in the last couple of years, but yeah, we've managed to avoid it. I'm sure you'll be fine. Stay wrapped up. Don't do anything. Take it easy. Big hugs. We have Jeff Lights in. Hi Fox and everyone in chat. Hi Jeff. Welcome. That's everyone in chat. Sneezes, says Andy McLeish. Don't you spread your germalons everywhere. Keep them to yourself, young lady. Yeah, hope you get better soon, dude. Hope it passes you over. Add all your shots. You should be fine. So yes, we're going to crack on today with the Horus Heresy Horus Heresy Age of Darkness. God, I can't speak today. And so far I've built the get it on camera. I've built the Contemptor Dreadnought, which I've given a very delightful pose. He's kind of going, I want that one, I want that one, I want that one. He's in the dress shop. I want that. Yes, I do believe in giving things dynamic poses. So whereas I could have just had him pointing the melters at bad guys, it's more fun just to give him a random pose and have him like he's supposed to be kind of looking this way, so he's pointing that way and he's looking that way and he's doing like he's bursting magic from his hand, except it's just bolters. But his head doesn't quite turn that far, so you just have to imagine. And he's not really shooting this right now. Imagine you're doing the the Doctor Who pose where you have one hand out like that, and you kind of go rah, and you at the camera, and the other one behind sticks out to the side. That's what he's doing. Yes. And I did learn a word today from someone who told me that there's a name for this kind of pose where one foot is flat. Move it out the way. One foot is flat and one foot is off, either up in the air or on the toe and not the heel, and it's contra something or other. It's a classical pose, because when I did this, it did have a kind of classical look to it, like a sort of some sort of classical sculpture. So it's he's kind of, imagine he's looking at the camera now, but it's that kind of pose. That's the way. Anyway, I've done that. The Contemptor Dreadnought. I need to put these all back in the box when I'm showing you them, so I'll get me a bit of plastic out. I've just put a little piece of, just a piece of spare greeble. I think it's a plate from a Baneblade. Just a bit of spare greeble that I'm slowly bending into shape and out of shape. I quite have bent it up a little bit. Drilled some bullet holes in it and attacked them with a knife. I don't want to go, because I'm going to get this on eBay, I don't want to go too over the top with this. I can't spend months and months building it. But I thought, there's a big gap there in the base. There's not much going on. There'll be some like terrain and stuff on it, but a simple piece of plastic like that, what will happen is I'll paint that rusty coloured like it's been abandoned on the battlefield, put some texture down on there and some tufts. There you go. Nice simple base. Doesn't detract from the big bad boy. I've built so far the 2 Praetors. They're not fully, they've not got the cloaks or heads, or he's not got his weapon because they're off in a bag. They'll be painted separately and glued on after painting, but they are beautiful. They're beautiful sculpts. These modern day sculpts now, they're just getting insane with the detail. I have built 10 Vexillari. Vexillarii. Technically, because it's all Latin, Vexillarius is an individual. The Vexillaria is the flag. It's the standard, like a standard banner, standard bearer. The Vexillarius is the guy that carries it. And plural is Vexillarii. Vexillarii. It's all Latin. Anyway, the flag bearers, standard bearers. So I've got 4 of those. I've built 4 of them. I have built 4 of the, what are these guys called? Nuncio Vox. Now I looked this up, and a Nuncio, in Latin, you've got these 4 guys with the Vox on the back. A Nuncio is a representative of the Pope. So, yeah, so it obviously has some, perhaps, or the Pontiff, or the, so it probably has some other meaning, but I guess it means they're the representative of the Emperor, and they broadcast all the orders and the morale boosting, I don't know. Anyway, the Nuncio Vox operators, so 4 of them. And I've built 4 of my big birds, what I call big birds, which are the sergeants. And they've all got the lightning claws. And they've got the big things, the big yard brushes on the heads to denote them as sergeants. So that's them 4. So I've built basically 12 Space Marines, a Dreadnought, and 2 Praetors. And that's as far as I've got. And I've got to say, it's slow going. I'll put these on my little tray and then I'll take them away. It's slow going, because I'm taking my time building them, because like I say, I want to get this on eBay and sold, but I'm enjoying the build. It's a slow build, I'm enjoying it, but I'm taking my time. The sculpts are beautiful though, but I should speed up now because I'm just on basic Space Marines now. I'll just put that over there. So I've got 12 of those built. I've now got 28 left to build, because there's 40 dudes in total. So I've got quite a lot of Space Marines to build, and I just started that last night, so we'll crack on with that today. But before we get going, and I'm waffling away to myself, before we get going, don't forget, as always, as you can see, I do have the chat in front of me here. So if you are watching this and you're embedded in Facebook or Twitter or somewhere else, come and join the live chat. It's all about me hanging out with you guys and having a good time. You're keeping me company while I do the tedious thing of building 28 Space Marines. A whole mess. Let's just leave it at that. Oh, do let me know, by the way, if the sound is alright. I noticed the last time I did a live stream on Sunday, about halfway through, my audio started getting really crackly and kept dropping out. So do let me know if my speaking audio sounds alright, or if you keep hearing crackles, or if it keeps dropping out at all. Because I don't know if it's like a funky, I don't know if my microphone cable's maybe a bit knackered, I don't know. So do let me know if that sounds alright. And I'm in 1440p today, so if you can watch 1440p, it'll give you the option. Let me know how it looks. But yes, we'll crack on. We've got loads of Space Marines to build. We've got all these sprues. All these sprues are the Space Marines. I've taken obviously 12 out of them so far already, because you use 4 of them for the Vox, 4 of them for the Vexillarius, and 4 for the Sergeant. So yeah, I've got all them to build. There's quite a lot, plus that sprue. I haven't put all the greebles and details on them yet. That'll be done at the end. So we'll be cracking on with that. And there's only 5 on each sprue, and basically it's 8 sprues with the same 5 guys. You just do all 5, then go round and round. So I'll be building the same 5 guys over and over again. Let's have a look. Andy McLeish says, giving voice to the Dreadnought, says, one of these, and one of these, and one of these. Incoming missile. No, not one of those. It's a pain in the monkey butt, says Andy McLeish. Not that chocolate velociraptor then. Box Fox says, I have a cool idea. What about a kill team board on a gigantic tank? That would be a very big tank. That'd be like a 1/16 scale Abrams or something. Oh, cup of tea, by the way, is ready and available. Get better soon, Andy McLeish, says Wendy. Big hugs. Yeah. Thanks, it's like a mild cold for me, but the family have it worse, says Andy. Well, take care to them. Paul Di Tommaso's in. Good day, everyone. Welcome, Paul. Big hugs to you. Age of Horus Warmar Sigmar 1000. Horus Heresy, the Age of Sigbra. Contrapposto, that's it, says Jeff. Somebody told me that earlier. Contrapposto. Learn along with Fox. Yes, that pose where you're not standing flat on both feet. You've got one foot either lifted off completely or slightly on, you're on toe or on heel. You're leaning on one leg, basically. And the idea is that if you're standing straight, you'd actually be at a slight angle. Look up, Michelangelo did it a lot. A lot of classical Greek and Roman sculptures also had the contrapposto pose. I didn't really plan it that way, it just came out like that. I thought, oh yeah, I like that, dramatic poses. I'm all Renaissance, that's what I am. Box Fox, Warhammer 40k, single-handedly keeping Latin alive since 1999. Well, sometimes Latin, sometimes made-up Latin. Wendy and Jeff say the audio is good. Good. Bob Mintz is in, says Horus Heresy. Sounds legit. Yes. I went to the university and got a degree in horse physics. AV's good, Fox, says Paul. Thank you. Right, so we'll crack on. So yes, as I say, if you're watching this embedded in Facebook or Twitter or somewhere else, do come and join the live chat. It's open to anybody who's a subscriber. If you're not a subscriber to the channel, you won't see the chat, so you have to join the channel and become a subscriber and wait for 5 minutes. It's open to all. If you want to come and join the chat, I've got it here in front of me. I do depend on you to give me stuff to talk about, so come and join the live chat. Peter Povey's in. Hello, Peter Povey. Welcome, Peter, mate. He says, hello, Fox. Do come and join the live chat. It's better than just watching it and not joining in the conversation. You can ask me anything in chat, that's the whole point, but no religion, no politics, nothing like that, but you can ask me anything you want. Model making questions, if you must. I'll try and know what I'm talking about when I answer those. So yes, let's crack on, let's do some building. So don't forget, of course, the most important question, bench and belly. What's on your bench and what's in your belly? What are you building right now? And what is in your belly? What are you going to have for your dinner? Or what have you had for your dinner? Tell me with the words, I want to know. I don't know what I'm having for dinner yet. It may be some form of pasta, I think. So there you go. Anyway, I hope everyone is well. Obviously, Andy's poorly sick, but get better soon. I hope everyone else is well. I'm not doing too badly. Got a bit of building done this week. Obviously, I'm trying to get this built ASAP, so I haven't done anything on the Imperial Knight Free models. Because that needs filming, and I need to get this done to earn some money. So, nothing happened on that one yet. But not been a bad week. Went to the Opticians on the Monday. Got new glasses turning up next week. That's fun. Well, I went actually on Tuesday. I went to the doctors on Monday, and amongst a load of other things, they said go to your opticians and just have your eyes tested for various reasons. I'm not going to go into my medical conditions, but they said, yeah, make sure you book an appointment with your optician just to have a look at your eyes. So I went to the opticians, and I thought, while I'm here, I might as well get an eye test and stuff as well anyway, because it's been a couple of years thanks to Chocolate Velociraptor. Hopefully I'm on camera. So I had my eyes tested. I had to undergo the torture of all tortures, which is, of course, the little puff of air to check the pressure in your eyes, which is to check against glaucoma, because there's a history of glaucoma in my family, so I have to be careful. And I hate that little puff of air. It's where you open your eye and they say, open your eye as wide as you can. It goes like that with a puff of air. And I'm a big grown man, and I squeal like a schoolgirl and jump, and I can't help myself every single time, and it makes me sweat, panic. And I don't know why. So I had that, and I survived. And it was quite amusing, because while I was sitting there in the waiting area, waiting to go in and do the actual eye test bit, like 5 other people went into the little area where they do where you have to look at, you have to look at the balloon that's on the hill in the distance, and you have the puff of eye test and stuff. And every single person that went in there said, oh no, not the puff of air thing. Everybody hates it. It's quite amusing. And then they did this new test that I'd not had before, called something or other, because I asked for it. It said you can have this test if you want. And basically it's where they take lots of pictures of you. They scan the inside of your eye. And at the end of it, you have all these like images of the inside of your retina and stuff. And you get all these graphs of the thickness of your like eye wall, and the retina and the fovea and all this kind of stuff. And when I was doing my eye test, the optician was actually showing me all these graphs and things. So, but it's cool because you look into these little, I've never had it before, you look into this area, into this lens, this eyepiece, and you get these like red lines going like this, like laser lines. It's like Terminator vision. So as the guy turned it on, I was like, I said it was like Terminator vision. And I can't remember what I said now, but I said something in my usual Arnie voice. I got no reaction at all. Nothing. Not even a slight giggle. There was like just no. It just died on its back. It just died on its backside straight away. Not even a giggle. So I was like, wow, this guy's got no sense of humour. So I didn't bother after that. I thought it was just one of the assistants. It wasn't my optician. I was like, I'll just shut up now. So I just did the rest of the eye test then. But it was quite good because I'd never had this thing before. But when I'm sat there doing my eye tests and stuff, the usual, read the letters out. And then they said, right, now let's have a look at the actual inside of your eye. And I'm like, cool! Can you see my brain and everything? You couldn't see my brain, unfortunately. Not because there isn't one, just because you couldn't see it. But I got to basically, I thought it was really cool that I was sitting there looking at the inside of my eye. It was kind of cool. I could see all the veins and the retina and stuff. I could see the fovea. Ooh! And I could see the bit where the optic nerve is. I've actually looked at my own optic nerve. How meta is that, looking at your own optic nerve? It's like there's something very meta about an image of your optic nerve going into your optic nerve. It's kind of a bit recursive when you think about it. So I looked at the pictures and they said, right, looking at your eye here, your eyes are in perfect health. There's no sign of glaucoma. There's no deterioration on the optical nerve. There's no deterioration anywhere like that. Everything's brilliant. You've not got anything wrong with them. They're perfect. I was like, yeah, apart from they don't line up properly and I haven't got stereo vision. She went, yeah, hey, can't do anything about that. Thanks. So yeah, apparently my eyes are fine. I did I also did but it was really cool because they had this graph of like, this is the thickness of your retina and here's all the macular layer and stuff. And she said, if this looked like that, if they were different, then we'd know there'd be some degeneration in one of the eyes. And I said, is this what they mean when they say macular degeneration? She went, yes. I went, wow, I'm a genius. I heard a word and I knew what it meant. So she was most impressed. And then I had another test after that, which was a peripheral vision test, which again I've never had before, which was quite interesting. You look into the eyepiece with one eye only. You do it one eye, then the other eye. And you basically have a dot in the middle that you stare at, and you're not allowed to look away from this dot. And it's quite uncomfortable staring at one little light. But as you stare at this dot, these little dots appear around the periphery, either quite close to it or quite off to the side. And you have to press this little button in your hand, this thing you have in your hand. You press this little button every time a dot appears. There's no sound. Well, there shouldn't be any sound, but It's clearly some kind of mechanical system, but it tripped me up because every time a dot appears, before it appears, there's a little kind of noise, like a little whirring noise, like there's a piece of machinery adjusting the position of the little projector, so like, and then projects the dot. So my brain was like, aha. So every time I hear this little tiny noise, I know there's a dot about to appear, so I can ready myself and see where the dot is. But then I also had to make sure when I heard the noise, I wasn't looking around to see where the dot is, because that's the whole point. You're not supposed to look around. So as we went through the test, I think you see like 40, you see 20 per eye, 20 dots. And at the end of it, I was acutely aware there's a few times where I heard the little whirring noise, but I didn't see a dot. So when it finished, I was like, wow, I'm going to sucked at this. I think my peripheral vision's clearly pants, because I counted at least, I don't know, 7 or 8 where I heard the noise, but there was no dot. So I think I'm going to have some peripheral vision issues anyway. No, you missed 1 out of 40. I'm like, oh, your machine duped me. He went, yep, the little noise means nothing. I was like, oh, you git. He said, yeah, the little noise doesn't mean there's going to be a light. It does mean something, but it doesn't mean there's going to be a light necessarily. It's not once every second. It's not quite how it works. I'm like, oh. He said, yeah, you're not the first person that's fallen for that. I was like, gosh darn it. So we did all kind of tests. I did find out that although my eyes are in perfect nick, I am a little sensitive, and I don't really know why. They kind of explained it, but it made no sense. But my eyes are kind of a bit hypersensitive to really bright lights, because, you know, I've said that I had a lot of headaches. My eyes are oversensitive to exceptionally bright lights, which kind of makes sense now I think about it. So, not like, you know, working on the bench here, because the lights are over to the side, but especially for things like when I'm doing a piece to camera where there's a light pointing right in my face, like on the Monday show. They said that's going to be, I can't remember the exact reason they gave, but it was kind of very technical anyway. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. But so what I've done is I've ordered some new glasses, and normally you get like a pair free. You buy 1 pair and you get a pair free, and a lot of people just go for a pair of regular glasses and then a pair of sunglasses. But I have no need for sunglasses because I'm not often driving, so, and I've survived without driving sunglasses for, you know, 20 years. So well, I don't need the sunglasses, and there's no point me having 2 pairs of glasses the same. So to tell you what I'll go for, because before when I got some glasses, I got 2 pairs. I got the pair I'm wearing now, and I got these. Now these are like reading glasses that I got for my normal glasses, which, if I take these lenses off, my normal glasses are varifocals, and therefore medium and close. Mostly medium. And then I've got these which were designed for close up, and they've got a little bit of extra magnification for them. And these were meant to be for working at the bench. However, the problem is they're very thin frames, but they're very thick lenses. I don't know why the lenses on those are thick when the lenses on these are really thin and light. So they were really heavy. They are really heavy, and they slip down my nose all the time, because these frames aren't really designed for, they're covered in dust, designed for thick lenses. But also they're absolutely useless for putting this thing on, because this thing just doesn't want to grip at all. So I've not gone for that this time. I've ignored the idea of having close-up glasses. I've gone for 1 pair of normal glasses that I can use for everyday use, and the second pair I've actually requested purely for situations where I'm going to be on camera. Basically, what I call YouTube glasses. They're basically glasses that I can wear so I can see, like, you know, say I'm doing a hangout on eModels Monday, or I'm doing any kind of stream where I'm looking at the camera and I've got a light right in my face, because you have to light your face, otherwise people can't see you. That's where I'm getting irritation. So they're basically going to be a medium range, so I can see the computer screen and my screen and stuff. But they're going to have a tint on them, a graduated tint, so that I've got some protection from the bright light of the spotlight that's pointing at my face. I didn't want them completely tinted because that would just make them sunglasses, and people that go onto a live stream with sunglasses look like tools. So I don't want that. I don't wear sunglasses indoors. But they'd graduated a bit, so that at least there's some protection from my eyes being shone, having a light shone on them. But not so much that I can't see, you know, the screen or my co-hosts or whatever I'm doing. So yeah, so a bit of the old channel in the old Jeff Lynne maybe going on there. So you'll see me wearing them. Now I've ordered a specific tint, but it might be that they're not dark enough. I don't know. I couldn't quite figure it out. I couldn't really tell in the Opticians. So you might see them in a couple of weeks on the model show. Or you might not. If I've had to, I'll go and collect them on Tuesday, and if they're not quite dark enough, I'll say, can you redo them? So you might be a few weeks. But yes, I'll be wearing tinted lenses. But it's not because I'm a poser and I'm not some kind of like egotistical schmuck. They're not sunglasses. It's purely to reduce the bright light in my eyes so I get less headaches, which is nice. It was they kind of said, yeah, because we were looking at the graphs for my eyes, and they said, yeah, if you look at this bit here, and I didn't really understand what she was saying, but I said, look at this bit here, that's this, and that's your fovea, and that's your optical nerve, or even optic nerve, and this bit here, and he says, so this might explain why you're getting lots of headaches when you're looking at bright lights, because this makes it more sensible. Okay. So we shall see. It certainly will be nice to be able to be on camera and not end the evening with a splitting headache, as I tend to do on a Monday night. It's why I don't do a lot of pieces to camera, and why I don't do, I mean, one of the reasons that on these live streams, like, you know, like Colin or Dave or any other people will do like a bit to Ted will do a bit to camera, and then they'll switch cameras. Aside from the technical problem of actually having two cameras, which is not ideal for me at the minute, it's also the idea of having a bright light in my face, which would make sense. I kind of knew that was possibly the cause, because I did kind of get the link between bright lights and headaches, but actually having it confirmed was quite nice. So we'll see how these do. They might help me out. But looking like having kind of Jeff Lynne glasses, don't see that as a bad thing. I love yellow. So Jeff Lynne glasses to me, not a downside. Of course, I haven't got the perm. I can do the beard, I just can't do the perm. But I might have to start talking with a Birmingham accent. All right. Now we're going to build these Space Marines, all right. Then I'll write a song about it. It'll be really exciting. Yeah, maybe not. So that's my adventure this week. I picked them up on Tuesday, I think, my glasses. I had to go to the doctors to get prodded and poked for various things. So a few more medical visits here and there for me. It's just nothing to worry about, just getting old stuff. I said to the doctor, I said, Jesus, you get to 50, and the moment you hit 50, all the old people complaints kick in. She went, absolutely. I was like, God damn it. Oh, my mate's joke, but it's true. Get to 50 and everything starts aching and falling off. It's like, oh, really? It's not right. So that's my exciting news from this week. I went to get eye tested and got new glasses. Yeah, not that exciting. I'll have a look at chat in a second. I can see you've been chatting. I shall have a look at chat in a second. I'm just cleaning up this backpack. Now, I have to say, and Cy Reynolds, you'll love this. Cy Reynolds will love these, because Cy Reynolds loves nothing more than cleaning up backpacks. He loves it. It's his favourite thing to do in the world. But he spends like a week cleaning a backpack. I'm finding these a lot quicker and less stressful to clean than 40k backpacks. Just because there's less to them. Not quite as complicated. What I am doing though, if you'll see on this bit, you see that ribbed section there, like the ribbed bit on the back, get yourself the Mark II scriber. Getting rid of the mould line in that gap. It's just as simple as that. Scribe it away inside. I've scraped it off on the outside, but on the inside you need to scribe it away. And you could use a knife, but a knife might just scratch and grind the interior to bits. This is a bit cleaner, a bit safer, and a lot less hassle. So whenever you have anything that's like ridged or ribbed like that, make sure you're getting rid of mould lines inside as well as outside. Because there's nothing worse than cleaning up a mould line but not noticing you've left it inside a ridged area, like a plasma coil or anything like that. Make sure you do inside and out. And then the trick is, once you've done that, come in with your extra thin. Take most of the glue off. Extra thin. Take most of the glue off. Just checking my streaming software. Most of the glue off. Very little. And then just go in and just dissolve away any little threads and thready bits that you've left behind. So when you scrape away panel lines, you'll often get some little fluffy threads and things that you've left behind. Just get a brush slightly dampened with extra thin, and just dissolve them away. You're not putting lots of glue. It doesn't need to be dripping with glue, just damp. Just enough that the extra thin can go in and dissolve any little fluffy bits of debris. Because what it does, it dissolves the polystyrene. So that's that backpack done, almost. I just need to quickly clean those tubes. So I'm not actually minding cleaning them. I hate cleaning backpacks. It does my head in, but these are alright because they're quite quick. Right, swig of tea. Have a look at chat. Let's have a look. Okay, so not getting religious with the thermography then, says Annie McLeish. Yeah. Box Fox, he has 1,440 foxes in his backyard. There is a fox living in my backyard, or at least living in the neighbourhood. I've seen it sitting in our lawn. Paul de Tomas says there's a guy on YouTube building the largest Titan replica. It'll be custom built and stand 7 feet tall. I think I've seen that. Rabbit's in. Purple says retro. Hello, welcome. Welcome to you, James. Welcome, welcome. Just got here. What chapter do you plan to build? I'm at the end of the Bloodthirster, says Peter Povey. There's no Bloodthirster in this box set. Aren't Bloodthirsters Tyranids? Anyway. No, Bloodthirster's corn. Anyway, yes, I am doing these as... hang on, I can't show you because it's not there. I could show you the backpack of one of the Praetors. I'm building them as Space Wolves, but it's Heresy era, so it's not blue and gold and yellow. It's grey and black Space Wolves. So I'm building them as Heresy era Space Wolves. Now, I was hoping to add lots of bits and bobs to them to make them all Space Wolfy. Unfortunately, I literally had one bit of stuff I could add. I had one thing I could add to one dude. So one of the Praetors... Oh no, I've got a couple of little icons, but one of the Praetors has basically got... I took out the skull from his backpack and replaced it with a Space Wolves thing. I do have the Forge World Space Wolves decal sheet that I got a couple of years ago. And I've got no other use for them, so I figured I may as well just make these Space Wolves. Use the decals, which is really cool. The downside is that the Space Wolves decal sheet has enough like leg markings to, you know, like you get the leg marking like the arrow says tactical, or the A shape says assault. They've got enough to make like 14. So I've got a little arrow to put on the leg, and it's like to say they're tactical Marines. I've got 14 of those. I've got like 28 Marines. So not everyone's going to have the same markings on them. I don't want to buy a second decal sheet just for that. So yes, so we're going to build Space Wolves, Space Puppies. Let's have a look. Boxfuck Scoot, it says belly, big old steak grilled outside and brined in salt, bench and admech, but instead of legs he has a big gear and has a fantasy mushroom village in a jar. Ooh, I like the sound of the silly fantasy mushroom village. That sounds quite cool. Also, if you can see your own eye, then something is very wrong. Unless you're at the Opticians. Paul Lewis says, belly, for dinner I'm having a salad, apparently. Shrug. Well, yeah, but get some meat in it, some chicken or some... You know what goes great with a salad? Get a tin of hot dogs or a jar of hot dogs, cook them, slice them up, put them in. There you go, bit of meat, bit of pre-remanufactured meat, so you get your unhealthy quotient in there. He says then bench 112th MFH Ferrari 512S Le Mans beverage water again. What's going on? Salad and water, but I don't want to be healthy. Yeah, it's good for you. Rabbit says new global law: all pies, regardless of size or flavour, must not have a value greater than $3.14. Seems reasonable. That's about £1.25. I can go for that. Robin's belly steak and kidney pie with battered onion rings and potato croquette. Ooh, very nice. For my dinner tonight, Mama Fox is having haddock risotto, so I'm going to have... I've got a load of wholemeal... I have to do healthy food now, so I've got a load of wholemeal pasta. It's a mixture of penne and Twizzlers. What they call the little Twizzly ones that look like a Archimedes screw. Whatever they're called. Anyway, fusilli, I think. Mixture of them, and I'll slap in some chopped up hot dogs because I haven't got any meat lying around that's defrosted. So, can of hot dogs or a jar of hot dogs, cut it up, put them in. Some sort of sauce, I don't know what yet. And I'll mix in some mint and maybe some other bits and bobs. Some onion I might put in there as well. Simple pasta nonsense. Yeah, Eric's Hobby Workshop, Titan Imperator. Yeah, I watched the first episode of that, actually, I think. Sorry, Fox, the Bloodthirster is my project. Oh, right, cool. Cool. Yeah, that's Korn, isn't it, Bloodthirsters? Not the crappy band. Obviously. The Chaos God. Right, so let's get these bits cleaned up. Today with the chat, yes. So that's my exciting week so far, basically. I went to Opticians and I got Opticianed. So I haven't done anything on the Imperial Knight, the E-Models Knight, because I've been working on this. Because I need to get this done. And that's why I'm sacrificing Fallout Friday. And probably I'll do the same again tomorrow. Because I'm not going to have suddenly built like a whole mess of Space Marines by this time tomorrow. No. So, my time is limited, sadly, because I'm looking after Mama Fox. So, and I am, for some reason, taking my time with these, like, bigly. Don't quite know why. Like, I can build 20 Imperial Guard in, like, 3 or 4 hours, but these guys are taking me forever. I think it's because I'm not building them just for myself. So, I think I demand too high a cleanup quality. If they were just being built for me, like as if I was having my own army, then I'd be like, yeah, that's good enough. If I can't see it, I don't have to paint it. But when you're doing it to sell, yes. By the way, talking of selling, shameless plug. If you've been thinking about snapping up my Forge World, I said Malcador there, Macarius Vanquisher tank that's up for sale, the Deathcore of Krieg Macarius Vanquisher, that's on eBay at the minute. I've dropped the price by 15%, so it's now reduced bigly. It's a big reduction because it's not a small price. So if you were thinking about snapping it up, you might want to think about it a bit faster, because I'm not going to keep it at that price. I will put the price back up again at some point, but I thought I'd just drop it down. If you've been thinking about snapping it up, it's there. It's on my eBay page. There's not a link in this description here, but if you go to my Facebook page, or if you go to the website, if you go to modelmakingguru.com, then there's a for sale page, and on the for sale page at the top should be the Macarius Vanquisher. It says the price on that page, but that price isn't correct. That price is the original. I must change that, actually. Price is the original price, so ignore the price it says on the website. I've dropped it down by 15%. So if you've been thinking about it, feel free to go and snap it up. You get a free Model Making Guru sticker with it as well, which makes it all the more worth it. Macarius Van Squisher. Yes, thanks, Andy. I just know one of Andy's comments without even seeing his name. I don't need to see his name on the comment. Belly waiting for slow cooker pork carnitas, says Joseph Kelly. Woo! I don't know what they are, but they sound fantastic. Bench AMT 124th 1923 depot hack bus, replacing all the chunky, horrible, flash-encased wheel spokes. Ooh. Peter says, I'd like to build some Marines from the Crimson Fist chapter. Not sure if I can get the decals for them. They've released a whole load of new decals. If you go to Games Workshop's website, there was a lot of decal sheets that used to be just from Forge World, but they're now available on the Games Workshop website. If you just go to Games Workshop's website and just do a search for transfers, The only transfer sheets they have that they tend to sell are for Space Marines. And it tends to be just for Horus Heresy, to be honest. Because the reason that you don't get like sheets of decals for 40k is because you tended just to get a sheet of decals with them anyway. And it was always Ultramarines. Nobody likes Ultramarines. You had to go to third parties, but they have released. I think there's one. I don't think it's every single chapter, but you know, Crimson Fists might be in there. As long as it's a. I say chapter, I mean Legion. I'm not 100% full up on Horus Heresy, so as long as the Crimson Fists existed in Heresy, there may well be a decal sheet there. But they've got like, you know, Imperial Fists, and they've got Dark Angels, and Space Wolves, and everything else. So there probably is one. I'm sure they'll release more. But that was the frustrating thing with Space Marines that really gravelled my ass, was that, you know, you want to build Space Marines in 40k, you could basically buy out of the box 3 or 4 chapters. You had mostly Ultramarines. You could buy some sets of Dark Angels, I think some sets of Blood Angels, whatever they are. But for a lot of other ones, it was like, you know, you want to make this chapter, you get Space Wolves, but you know, you want to make a chapter, brilliant, but there's no physical kit of it, then there weren't any decals for it. And that was the problem. If there was a chapter represented in a kit like Dark Angels, then great, you could get the decal sheet with that. But if you want to make a chapter that didn't exist as a kit, then you were knackered. Forge World at least gave you lots of options for the Heresy era legions, but so I did think that was a bit of a rubbish shortcoming from Games Workshop for a long time. They did release a Space Wolves decal sheet, both for Heresy and for 40k, but yeah, if you wanted to make, like, you know, Crimson Fists in the 40k setting, good luck trying to find decals that are official. There aren't any. You know, they'll have to do hand painting or find a third party one, set of decals. Which is a bit rubbish, really. Make whatever chapter you want, but we're not going to give you any markings for them. Thanks. Bit of an oversight. And then what decal sheets they did have were usually out of stock all the time anyway. A bit rubbish, really. Crimson Fist with a success to the Imperial Fist. Same fist, just red, says Andy McLeish. So that means they weren't in the Horus Heresy then, I guess. So likely there isn't a decal sheet, because Games Workshop didn't have a lot of 40k. Have a look on the website. They may have some, but most post-Heresy chapters just didn't have decal sheets at all. You'd have to go third party or freehand. Duh. Freehand. Do 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 do. The Horus Heresy rocket missile launcher is still stupid looking. Sigh, says Rabbit. Yeah. The one that's got like a yeah, it's no. It doesn't look good. Make it look like the spanker from Halo, that'd be cool. So, yes, that's basically what I've been up to this week. So what have you guys been up to this week? Anything interesting? Like I say, bench and belly, what you're working on, what you're eating. Don't forget, of course, please treat the chat as an AMA. I mean, the chat is a place you guys can all hang out and have a good laugh, but I'm here as well, and I need company. So please do treat the chat as an AMA, where you can ask me whatever you want. No religion, no politics and stuff, obviously. Don't do current events and things like that, but, you know, feel free to ask away. Joseph Kelly says, Fox, Mexican pork carnitas, pork roast cubed, cooked with cumin, garlic, lime, orange, oregano and basil. Ooh. Do they come in like tubes of like a tortilla or something, or is it just in a pile? I've always pronounced SPNKR, which is the rocket launcher in Halo, as Spinker. Why would you not pronounce it Spanker? It spanks the enemy bigly with its rockets. Pascal Leverse is in. Evening. Welcome, Pascal. Not seen you for a while. Nice to see you back, mate. Nice to see you up and about. Willkommen. Okay, I need to get the mould line out of his undersuit in the elbow, crook of his elbow. Apologies if my head comes in shot, by the way. I'm just doing close-up stuff. Now, I did ask the optician. I said, right, I have these flippy... I showed him my little flippy-flappy lenses, these things, that I have on my glasses to magnify. I said, right, these are my little flippy-flappy things that help me see small items. They're only 4 diopters, so they're not brilliant. They're all right. I said, can I get a pair of glasses? Is it a thing that I can do where I can come in and order a pair of glasses who are designed purely to magnify stuff, so I don't have to have a separate flippy flappy thing? And she went, yep, you can do that. And I nearly took that as my second set of glasses. So a set of glasses basically that I didn't need these flippy floppy lens things. But then I realised these are handy if I need to look at my iPad or look over there to my cup of tea or look at the instructions. I can flip them up. Otherwise, I'm looking at everything horribly out of focus. Anything that's like further than that is out of focus. And I suddenly realised, no, that'd be a pain in the bum because I'd have to keep taking them off and putting normal glasses on, and that'd just absolute ball ache. So I decided against it in the end. Well, phonetically, that's how it's spelled in my mind, I guess, says Box Fox. Yeah, I just think Spanker. Because I'm filthy dirty. Plus, that's what they were called in the old. Go back 20 years in the old Halo.bungie.org forum days when Halo Combat Evolved was a new thing and there was a big Halo community. That's what we called it, Spankers. I guess if you weren't around in like 2003, in 2002 in the HBO forums, you wouldn't have known that. Let's have a look. Going tomorrow to WME, says Pascal. What's WME? Is that the modelling exhibition? I think, isn't it? Rabbit says, working at a friend's shop restoring a 1970 Toyota Land Cruiser. The front hubs were filled with grease, so it was a goopy, smelly mess to rebuild. Ew. Yeah, but dude, 1970 Land Cruiser. Wendy's getting a delivery next week of some Lyocheles australasiae, pygmy wood scorpions that are generic species, tiny 2 to 3 centimetres. Cool. Lyocheles australasiae, have I got that right? You like little creatures, don't you? Little tiny creatures. And that's everyone saying hello to Pascal. Right, let's build the Space Marine. Shut up, Fox. Right, so I'm not gluing all the little actual doodads and things. I need to clean my lenses first. I'm not at this stage gluing on all the little doodads like the holsters and the pouches and things like that. I'm leaving that till I've got every body built. Because that in of itself is like, a bit of work. Because you get all the little bits and you've got to clean them all up and then you glue them on. And it's cleaning up all the little bits that takes forever. So I'd rather do that all in one go than spend, an hour doing a Space Marine and then spend another half hour doing all these little pouches. I can do all that later. So I don't need this. Let's move that out of the way. I've built enough of these now. I think I can do it without looking at the instructions. World Model Expo in Eindhoven. Ooh. I knew it was some kind of exposition type thing. Expo! Let's glue the leg on first. Let's get rid of that nub first. Yeah, that'd be the first thing to do, Fox. There we go. You see why this is taking me a while? I'm not exactly the fastest builder in the West at the moment. I don't know why I'm going so slowly. I'm blaming Fester, actually, because, of course, when we're doing our Lehman Russ builds and on our Stomper builds, we're taking our time with them and enjoying the build. And it's basically, I'm slow at the best of times. I think this may be even slower. I got used to going slowly, matron. Now, one thing I will say about these Space Marines, they're not really in any interesting poses. The poses, you only get 5 on a sprue. Okay. And the squads are typically 10. So you're building 2 of each. And they're not very interestingly posed. Like, he's just stood there like legs akimbo. It's not... Like with the Primaris, you do get some similar, like, boring poses with the Primaris, but some of them have more interesting, like, stepping or running or leaning or walking or aiming poses. But for most of these guys, they're just kind of like, they're just standing. You know, some of them have got a bit of a walking animation to them, but not much. So they're a bit dull, pose-wise, and considering you only get 5 different poses, it makes for a very boring battlefield. Really. Really it does. Now we need to put the back on there. Just go on there like that. And we need to do the touch and squeeze, but not the kind that gets you into trouble with HR. Not that kind of touch and squeeze. No HR violations on this live stream, thank you. Oops. Get some glue on your brush might be a good idea. Touch and squeeze. Squeeze. Squeezing now, sir. Yes, sir, squeezing now. There we go. That's his front and back attachicated. I think you meant scorpions part of the no-genic species or non-genetic species. Says Box Fox. Rabbit, the 70s Land Cruiser... Excuse me. The 70s Land Cruiser looks like what your 5-year-old self would draw for a car or a Jeep. A cube with a bit at the front for the engine. Yeah, I know what they look like. They're kind of awesome. I very nearly once bought... I was looking for a new car at the time. This is like the late 90s, early 2000s. I had a Ford Escort Mark II? Maybe 3? Mark II, I think. And it was absolutely rotten. It was just falling apart. So I didn't have a lot of money, so I went to the local car dealership. And for some reason I decided I want one of the Citroen BX, which is the square angular one, I think, that one. But I decided against that, because it does look really futuristic at the time. But I decided against that, but I nearly bought this thing which was, it looked like a Jeep. But it wasn't, it was a Russian kind of Jeep thing. I don't quite know what it was, but it was some kind of Russian nonsense. Yeah, I nearly bought that, but it would have been a terrible idea. Luckily I didn't. I did not do that. Parthenogenic species. Females produce carbon copy. No need for the males. As I have not kept, we will see. Aha. They're just clones. It's a tank full of clones. If they attack you, that would be attack of the... Moving on. We don't do Star Wars jokes in this house. Right, so I can't clean up those little gaps yet because I've got to only just glued them on. So we'll clean them later if we can. It may be that they're covered up by the arms, but we'll see. Touch of glue on the arm. I don't like using this big fat brush, but at some point I really must switch out the brush in my Tamiya fat glue for a brush from extra thin. And the one thing that is a bit fiddly on these Space Marines is the arms. They have a little peg to put the arm in exact right pose, but it's got some freedom to it. It's not set in stone. So you never quite know where the arms are supposed to go until they've got a gun attached. So it's like they're there, but they're not in one single pose. So I need to know how they're going to go together. That seems to be about right. So do be prepared. I recommend when you put the arms on these, don't use your fast setting glue. Obviously don't use CA glue. Don't use extra thin, because extra thin won't hold them in place, it'd fall off. Use Tamiya regular glue, purely so that you have some scope, that when you glue them on they stay in place, but you also have some scope then to wiggle things around a bit. That's going to fall off, because you'll need to wiggle things around a bit to get it all to fit, because you've got to line up the arms with the hands and so on, and you'll never have the arms in exactly the right place straight away, so don't assume you will. Don't even begin to think that. There we go. But because I use that fat glue, it's got a minute or two that I can wiggle things around without everything falling off. Extra thin just wouldn't hold that in place. I can make sure all my arms are lined up. Then I can put in a touch of extra thin just to really weld them in place nicely. The fat cement will glue it nicely, it's just the extra thin has a slightly better welding effect because it can really get into all the little recesses, whereas the thick cement doesn't have such great capillary action, but it still works. Quite line that up right, so let's just, that's there. Need to move that arm a little bit. There we go, that's better. There's a little bit of a gap between his wrist, so I had to twist the gun that way a little bit just to line it up. You need to make sure that your hand is also lined up with your actual arm, so that you haven't got like the hand coming out halfway across the arm. It's quite tricky, but it's not too hard. You say use the regular cement and you'll be absolutely golden. Box Fox says, oh god, if they get out you'll have to nuke the whole house to make sure you kill them all. I think in this climate, if they all got out, they'd die off in the winter anyway. The escort that anyone with a screwdriver could steal. Oh, absolutely. It was an RS as well. It was stolen once. It got nicked. We got it back. One, the way you pull the hazard switch out of the dashboard, turn it upside down and put it back, pressed it and it started the engine. Couldn't have that. However, my bonnet, because the bonnet had like no insulation on it, it was just a sheet of metal. The frame underneath the bonnet was all the crisscrossy bits. That had broken. It had corroded and snapped, so you couldn't lock the bonnet. It would go down, but because it was wobbly and loose, the lock that the thing goes into, it wouldn't engage. So you couldn't lock the bonnet. So I actually had pieces of like garden wire, like the kind of things you make little fences out of to put plants to grow up. Garden wire, the metal wire. You'd close the bonnet and then wrap the wire around the locking mechanism and then wrap it around the grill, the radiator grill, to hold the bonnet down. I didn't have it for long because obviously it didn't pass its MOT. It wouldn't have passed its second MOT, or it wouldn't have passed its MOT. So I think I got it just after it somehow got through an MOT, and then I had it for like a year. That was the days when it was like one of my last mechanical cars, in the days when cars were mechanical and not all soft and squishy and quiet. There's Tamiya thick, thin and extra thick, but what about Tamiya dummy thick, says Box Fox. Yeah. Tamiya pumped. Tamiya ripped. Because it's the thick glue, you've still got a few minutes to wiggle things around. That's the beauty of it. So you could do this with extra thin. You would have the same ability to move things around. But the problem with extra thin is, like I say, if I glued the arm, if I put some extra thin on the arm and then stuck it in place, it'd just fall off. Because the extra thin doesn't have the viscosity. When I glue the arm, put glue on the arm and stick it on, it stays on there. Not because the glue's strong, but because it's viscous. It just holds it in place for a minute while the glue does its filthy glue business. So I'll just put some extra thin down there. There we go. Panzer Cat's in. Greetings, Fox Hugs, and greetings all. Welcome, Panzer. So I need to. He's not going to have any funkiness. It's just I'm not going to put his backpack on yet. I'm going to stick his head on. The trooper's got his head. Now I have to be careful. I like having them in looking different directions, but it's easy to lose track. When I did some of my Vexillari and my Nuncio Vox dudes, I found that like 3 of them were all looking in the same direction. I'm like, oh fudge. So I kind of keep them all to one side and make sure they're all looking in not all looking in the same direction. Now, looking straight ahead forward is boring. He's got his gun going that way, so he would logically be looking over there to shoot at it, but he might be looking over there to the other side because he's not actually firing. You haven't really got a lot of option from looking up or down. You can do a bit of a wobble on the head like that, but there's not a lot of options for having him looking up or down because of the shape of his head and where it goes in there. So really you can look left or right and you can have a tilt on his head. So for this one I'm going to have him looking to the right. His gun's going to the left, but it doesn't mean he's actually shooting anybody. I'm going to have his head slightly tilted. Maybe he's watching somebody do some dumbass thing. He's like, what is that guy doing? So he's like, what? Somebody's doing something stupid. And he's like, really? Seriously? You had one job, Carl. Not a lot of scope for expressivity in these faces, in these heads. I don't want them all looking in the direction their guns are pointing. Some of them might just be like scoping out the area, doing a bit of recce, you know, see what's going on. So they're not all necessarily firing at this point in time. They could be waiting or guarding or anything. So there we go, that's that bit. Now I've got a pauldron there. This side, I need to get the other pauldron in a minute. Make him looking up, then make cartoon eyes out of epoxy like he's seen something Lovecraftianly horrifying. Sadly, you can't get him to look up. It's not like a regular, like a 40k Marine. There's almost no vertical movement in the head at all, which is a shame. Put that one on there. I'm using the thick glue again, just because it'll hold that pauldron in place, more or less, like that. If I'd used extra thin, that would just fall straight off. So that can go there. I will reinforce it with a little bit of extra thin. Like I say, that can disappear. I need to clean that bit of sanding mark off there. So that's that one on there. Now for the left pauldron, his left pauldron, is these two-part ones. And they're an absolute pain. They're easy to build, it's just a pain to clean them up. Absolute pain in the bum. And even though I've gone to great lengths to clean them up, I know when I get these primed, some of them will still have a visible gap down the middle, but it's like... But I understand, I've learned some things in the last week, and I understand now why they're done this way. And it makes sense, and I'm like, okay, that's a reasonable explanation. I will let Games Workshop off. Still a pain in the arse though. A massive PITA. But I've pre-built all these granny bubble hat pauldrons, as I call them. So I don't have to build any right now. I pre-built them all, and then I'll sand them as I need them. I think I'd already sanded this one a little bit. You could use putties and fillers, but frankly that would take me forever. And like I say again, I'm not building this for myself, I'm building it to sell. And I want it to look as good as possible, but I also want it to take less than 8 months to build. Because I don't want to get this all built and painted and on eBay right after everybody's lost interest in it. Because that would suck absolute balls. So that's, hold it up to the light to have a look. Looks pretty smooth. So I'll do two things. Because I've had to kind of clean it up with a knife, it's going to leave scratchy marks. So first thing I'll do is glue it on. There we go. Activate pauldron attachings. Now I did find that on the 40k Space Wolves upgrade sprue that you get to change your Space Marines, some of the pauldrons are exactly the same size as these ones. So you could theoretically use those if you're doing Space Wolves, because they've got like markings on them and paws and things like that. I mean, or they've got, you know, stuff around the edge. But I was talking to Cy Reynolds, and he's like, yeah, but they're like for later marks of armour, and it just really wouldn't look right. And I'm like, yeah, true. But regular normal Space Marine pauldrons I don't think from 40k would fit. They might do, but not different to that, I don't know. And I forgot to take there's a nub on that. I'll have to wait till it's dried now and hack it off. I forgot to take all the nubs off those pauldrons. I'm a spoon. So now that can go on the back. But first, I'll see if I can get rid of those little gaps in the belt. Let's have a look. Make him, where are we? Paint giant anime eyes. I wish. I didn't attach the gun's hands before painting so I could paint the chest and harness without hindrance. Well, I've been looking at them and I think I should be able to paint that no problem. Because I can just about get to most of it. I can get to all of it. I mean, they're going to be a dark grey colour anyway. But I can get to most of that no problem. Because it was, to me, it was a choice of paint them all with the weapons off, but then I risk when I try and glue the weapons on, if I've got to, like you've seen, I've had to wiggle them around. If I glue the arms on but not the weapon, then when it comes to gluing the weapon on, how do I know I've got the arms in exactly the right place? 2 weeks ago when I glued the arms on. It's quite tricky. And I know that if I started futzing around, once they're painted, if I need to slap some glue on there and blobble them around a bit, it's going to ruin the paint job. So I just decided to glue them on. I should be able to paint most of that. I think for most of their poses, you can get to the chest. Okay, it's not going to be a major problem. For ones when they've, if you get somebody with a gun right against their chest, yeah, that's a pain. And when you've got like a 40k one with an Aquila, that's a pain. But luckily, that's usually like gold or bronze anyway, so it's not that big of an ask. Now it's only been a few minutes, but we might be able to just get these cleaned up a little bit. The belts might just have set just enough. I can scrape the excess away and get that gap in the belt cleared. There you go. You can be quite quick when you're filling gaps with glue. For little things like that, you can go in within minutes sometimes and just scrape the plastic away. And now what I'll do is I'll just quickly clean it, because I made some scrapey marks. I can't get a sanding stick in there, but I can smooth it with some extra thin. Gets rid of any little fluffy bits. It makes it look nice and solid. And you can't see the gaps in the torso because they're covered up by the arms. So there you go. That's that. But yeah, I mean, I know people that have started doing these pauldrons and using filler to fill them. It's like, oh god, it'd take you months just to do the pauldrons. Oh, I couldn't be doing that. No. Too much. Glue on that. Glue on there. See, for me, it's a trade-off because I want to get these sold, but I need there still to be demand. I still want people to be wanting to buy them. And you know what Games Workshop's like? You know, if I worked at my normal speed, then it'd be like me buying the Dark Imperium set, building it, painting it, and when I've sold it, the next set's come out, and I'm like, oh, well, there's nobody wants that now then, do they? So, yeah, can't really hang around. Now, I've not put all the extra bits and bobs like his pouches and stuff on. I'll do that later. For now, I just need to get these dudes built. That's one so far. Most excellent. Fox, I was talking about the lack of dynamics in the poses. Remember the older MK armours that had poor range of motion and only had better ranges of motion in Mark 7 and above? Somebody's come in. I'm missing something. Anna McLeish says, hey, Catmandu. What? OG pauldrons are compatible, however the Mark 10 Primaris are not, as they're just bigger and weird. I'm using ancient metal Blood Angel pauldrons on my Mark 6s. Yeah, so like yeah, other ones. Second edition where the starter set Dreadnought was a printed card on a stand, says Rabbit. And the terrain was the same and got busted up when you looked at it the wrong way. Oh yeah. Swig of tea. Right. I like the fact these Marines are now a bit more realistically shaped, not the squat things that you used to get in the old days. I do have at my disposal a pack of Space Marines. Mark, I don't know, the old tactical squad, pre-Primaris tactical squad. I wonder if some of those pauldrons would fit. Oh, I've got them all now. I've built them all now anyway. Fanged Scale Builds and Mods sneaks in and sits down quietly. Welcome, Fanged Scale Builds and Mods. Not seen you before. Welcome, welcome. Panzer Kit says, sorry, was in the shower. And it's Vampy, yeah. The fact that you say sneaks in and sits down quietly made me think of Mew, so I thought it might be you. Welcome, Vampy. Who's sending me emails? What's this email? Is it giving me money? No. Okay, boring. Don't care then. Right, so that's one. Let's do another one. More. That was Marine number 1. Cashier number 1, please. Let's do Marine number 2. Right, so Pose 2A. This one's got a little bit more dynamism to him. 7, 8, 9 and onwards. Right, there we go. I kind of know all the bits now. 7. 7. 8. Oops. 9 is his leg. 10, 11 of the arms. Armulations. Now I'm out of things to talk about now, so it's entirely up to you guys to give me stuff to talk about in the chat, because I'm out of ideas. The only annoying thing with this is, like, this is one Marine. This is the next Marine. Then there's a Marine here and a Marine here. But, like, his head is... This guy's head was... where was it? Where's 39? Where is it? Where was it? Yeah, this guy here, his head was there. This guy, all the bits for this guy are there, apart from that head, which isn't his. His head is... Where's his head? His head is... Where is his head? Where's 40? 34, 42, 44, 43... There somewhere. I can't find it. There. So his head, there's all the bits for this guy, apart from that head there, which is there. 40's there. And 40. Why not put that one there, and then that's for him? Oh, some things make no sense. And I nearly cut that head off, even though I know it's not the right one. God damn it. I could put 40 and then 40. I don't know. Move some things around, you'd be sweet. I know why they didn't do it really, but I'm just like, I like kvetching, you know me. I like a good kvetch. Right, so that's that. He wants pauldron number 35. Pauldron 35. Now, I've not decided whether to give them all bayonets or the little chainsaw attachment, like the Gears of War style thing. I don't know yet. I've not decided which one to do. Right. Bloody bobbly pauldrons. I don't know. Rabbit says, my sister gave me a large Lego gift card for my recent graduation. I decided to get the big Millennium Falcon. I will cross the where the F do I put this bridge when I get to it. Exactly. I got the Super Star Destroyer, the UCS one, like about 10 years ago. I had no idea where I was going to put it. I found a space in the end. I just needed a 4.5, 5 foot long Super Star Destroyer. That's all I knew. I didn't do any thinking beyond that. And as true geeks, we should not. We should always dive into these things head first. The only thing you shouldn't dive head first into or over is a fence or a wall, because you never know what's on the other side. But purchasing decisions, yeah, don't think about things. Just buy. So I don't like using the knife to get rid of, to scrape away like where I filled the gap, but because it's not tidy, the removal tool is smoother and more gentle, but there's no choice of this. The gap is so small between the bubbles that there's no option but to use a knife blade, sadly. It just means that even though I might get rid of the gap, you're left with this scratchy patch even after you sand it as best you can. No matter what you do, it's not going to go away. Line my tools out a bit more neatly here. So we'll see if we can clean that up a little bit. I mean, it's kind of handy that these pauldrons will be black. I like that fact. Now I know why these pauldrons are bobbly. Of course, it's the Horus Heresy. It's towards the end of that period. Materials are in short supply. Everybody's fighting everybody. The whole point of this is to basically bolt on extra layers of stuff onto your pauldrons to make them more resistant, because materials are in short supply. It's not easy to get repairs done to your armour at this stage, so these things are basically studs that are holding on extra layers of armour onto the pauldron. You know, you're not going to get a new pauldron and a better material, but you could perhaps just add more layers to it. So that's what these are for. It's basically like quick fixes to make the armour better. But still, it's a pain in the bum. I'd much rather just give them flat, smooth ones. Okay, so that's looking okay. It's a little bit rough and ready, but I'll put some glue on it when I clean it up. I'll sort his pauldron out in a minute. Why are the heads specific to certain bodies in the first place? I don't really know. I think they're all identical, to be honest. I think it's just for the sake of you have to have a numbered part anyway. I'm pretty sure all the heads are actually identical. I debated whether to use any of the unhelmeted faces, but that's far too much like hard work. So, no. I decided not. Because then I'd have to paint like a load of faces. And then you've got the question of, do I paint eyes? And then you've got the question of, it's now December and nobody cares about this box set anymore. And I've got sadness. So, yes. Doodle doodle. Oh, let's do the gun next. Let's take these knobs off first. Oops. I really hope the Falcon is the same scale, same-ish scale as Boba's ship, so I can display them together. I don't know. UCS. If it's the UCS one, they're not normally minifig scale, are they? They're independent of that. If it's the UCS one, if it's minifig scale, then it will be obviously. But if it's the UCS one, they're not always minifig scale. Some of them are. But not all of them. Holy cow, RS. That was a very nice gift. Also, congratulations. What? Oh, that's Jeff saying to Rabbit about the Lego card. It is a very nice gift. Paul Lewis, just found some meat in the fridge. Yay! Salad will be upgraded to ham salad. Water will unsurprisingly remain wet and well. I like water. Water's quite a refreshing drink. Especially when it gets towards summer and you're nice and warm. I mean, a cup of tea goes down great, but you've got to stay hydrated. Especially if it's, say, I'm in here and I'm working or whatever, editing or filming or building, and it's really hot and I'm sweating cobs. I'm just going to have like endless glasses of water. Keep me hydrated. It's refreshing. Because if I drink tea, then I have to go downstairs and make a cup of tea every half an hour, and then that's just effort. You get these nubs on the hand there, and downside is that when you get rid of it, you end up sanding away the line that marks out the panel on his hand. So you have to put that back in again. But you can't really see where it was, so it's kind of a rough and ready, rough guess. You just put a little line on his hand just to suggest the back of his hand armour. I can't really see where it was. Just sanded away really easily. So I just put a little gouge on his knuckle line, and it just kind of suggests there's a piece of armour there. It's a bit of a shame, really. It's quite hard to not sand that away. But, you know, hey. As long as there's a little bit of a line there somewhere. Jeff says, I bought a Bandai Perfect Grade Falcon a couple of weeks ago. My hat is off to everyone who's built this. I'm having a hard time just finding room for the box. Oh, yeah. And, of course, if it's minimal effort, that's where you'll find model making guru, says Andy. Of course. Indeed, my sister is awesome. She's a VFX production coordinator and worked on the last 3 Star Wars movies. Woo! The last movie was Free Guy. The gift card covered 1/3 of the Falcon. Wow. Everybody suddenly wants to get to know your sister. For no mercenary reasons whatsoever, I can imagine. Free Guy was quite a good film, actually. Do. Ow. Do. That wasn't Stabberty, don't get excited. Right. These bolters are quite easy to clean up as well, which is nice. I never realised how small these compared to modern, like I say modern, 40k things, they're actually quite small, these bolters. The Lucius pattern or something, I don't know. I don't know the specific thing for them. But the problem is, I'm having to use like a tiny, because they're smaller, the barrels are tiny. So drilling out the barrels on these is really stressful. So I'm having to use a real tiny drill bit. Because when you're doing 40k, the drill bits you get with the Games Workshop drill are all designed to fit bolter barrels. They're all kind of the right size, but even the smallest one is too big for this. So I've just got a real small drill bit. I drill a little hole and then I have to widen it with my blade really carefully. Thankfully, so far, I've not screwed any of them up. So what I'll do now is run the blade around the inside of the hole very gently because it's very soft plastic to widen that a bit. That'll do, and then get the extra thin. Just run that around the edge. It softens the edge, gets rid of any fluffy bits, and it now looks like a nice neat drill barrel. The trick is just getting the hole in the middle because it's such a tiny drill bit and a tiny barrel. If I go off a little bit and go down the side, it's knackered. I've got no way to repair that if I screw it up. So yeah, it's a bit tricky, but I've done all right so far. Challenge is never a bad thing. It can be a frustrating thing. It's always welcome though, in a way. And it's challenge for a good reason, not challenge for a dumbass reason. Like, you know, with the crappy Revell kit, you get challenged because it's poorly built and poorly made and poorly manufactured. Yeah, that's not a good reason for challenge. Yeah, that's the worst reason for challenge. La 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 la. Edie. Box Fox says, remember Fox, it's not a screw up, it's battle damage. Exactly. Well, the thing is though, if it's like Imperial Guard, I don't mind damage and stuff. When it's Space Marines and stuff, it's a bit more tricky because they look after their equipment, don't they? Although, if anybody out there is an expert on the Heresy, I'm assuming, of course, there's a bit more wear and tear to stuff in the Heresy area because it's just, you know, everything's falling apart. It's not like they can get everything repaired. So I assume there's more scope to have more wear and tear on their armour. I don't do clean, you know that. Like when I do the Spartan tank, that's going to have wear and tear on it and weathering. Of course it is. But I have decided to do all of the things as Space Wolves. I'm not splitting it between Space Wolves and a different legion. I know the box set is designed to be 2 different legions, so you can play them against each other, but and I did put polls out there. A lot of people said you'd do it as 2 different legions, but my thinking is, for the kind of price I'm going to be asking for this, whatever it comes out at, it's not the kind of thing that, you know, a couple of people are going to split with them. It's not the kind of thing that somebody's going to split with their mate and get half of it each and then go halves, because, you know, it's outside that kind of price range. And it's not the kind of thing where somebody wants to spend that money on a set where half of it is the legion they want and half of it is a legion that's of no interest to them. So I figured I'll just go for 1 legion, and then it's of interest to anybody who plays that legion or who maybe wants to start an army, because it's basically an army in a box. There you go, done. Because there's a certain, I think there's a certain price bracket where, you know, you and your mate might go for it. You might buy the box set. Yeah, I'll go halves. I'll have the ones that are the Imperial Fish. You can have the other ones, the Sons of Horus, and then we can play each other. That's true, but not when it's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pounds. It's not, you know. You might be prepared to spend that much on your little part of the army, but the other person might not. So my thinking is, it's going to be collector level prices. So let's just stick for someone who's going to get the most bang for the buck. Anyway, that's my logic. We'll see what happens if it sells or not. Panic. It might not. I could have completely misjudged it. Who can say? This could be the worst decision I ever made. Right, that's that bit. Let's get rid of the nubs first of all before we start dealing with the mould lines. Forks plus knife equals blood and stabity. No, there was no stabity. It was a touch, not a stab. I don't even know why I said ow, because it wasn't even painful. I just said ow. I think force of habit. Stabity where? No, there wasn't any. It's more just an instinctive response now. When a blade touches any part of my hand, I go, ow, wait, what? Oh, no, I'm fine. Yes. How are we doing? Not too bad. What time is it? 6:30? That's not too bad. Right, so I'll get rid of these mode lines. Mode line. There is my special tool. Here is my, let me show you my tool. It's very impressive. Yeah, guy at the Opticians. I did my best Arnie impression. Nothing. Nothing. Not even nothing. Just blank stare. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to shut up now. I can't remember what I said now. I think I remarked that it was like, it's always like Terminator vision, and then I think I said something like, I need glasses in the 40-watt range, or something like that, and it's nothing. Either he was too young to even know what I was talking about, which is just, it just makes me sad, or he just had no sense of humour. The only possible 2 options. Because, as you all know, it's hilarious when I do that. It's the funniest thing in the world. So, clearly he had no actual inbuilt sense of humour at all. Poor lad, I don't know how he survives. Poor lad. Do 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 do. Scraping, 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 be gone. I must get around to painting my actual Space Wolves at some point. I've got 40k Space Wolves. I started building a set, an army. Well, I never got around to do anything more. I've built a load of them. I built the Start Collecting set, a few other bits, but never got around to actually painting them. So many things I need to get round to doing, but of course time right at the moment with Mum and Fox needing all the looking after. That's why I've not filmed much, so I do apologise. I know people are getting disappointed because I don't film anything, but I only have limited time. That's the problem. And what time I do get, I have to think about how it's going to make me a living. That's the problem, you see. Talking of which, talking of making a living, if you're watching this, don't forget, of course, I do this for my living. So it's a good segue, that, wasn't it? So if you'd like to support this channel and make sure that I can keep making content for you and keep doing live streams and making videos and all kinds of good stuff, if you'd like to help keep this channel alive and you're not one already, then please consider becoming a patron or a channel member. You can go to patreon.com/modelmakingguru to become a patron, or you can simply click the join button under any of my channel content to become a channel member. Either way, you get, if you remember, you get loads of free little icons. You can see people in chat who've got little icons next to them because they're lovely members. You get loads of bits and bobs, but you also get access to the live off-air 24/7 Zoom hangout that's open to all my channel members and patrons, and all the members and patrons of Colin's channel, Festa 67's Workshop. It's a little safe space where you can go and hang out and have a good laugh with them, make some friends. But of course you also get to keep this channel alive. I am, from this point forward, I am doing my part work builds as patron and member exclusive live streams. So I'll do a live stream every time I get a few of the things from the part work. I'll do it as a live stream that only patrons and members can watch, and then once that's finished, you know, with live chat and stuff, and once that's finished, I'll then just make it a video available to everybody. But the perk being for the patrons and members that they get to watch it live and join the live chat, which is awesome, because that's where all the cool stuff is, in the live chat. So do consider becoming an patron or an channel member if you would be so kind to help support the channel. Don't forget, of course, if you're watching this, another way to support the channel, if you're watching this and you're in the live chat, you can of course do a super chat by pressing the dollar symbol at the bottom of the chat window. That allows you to donate little bits to the channel and also have your comment noticed. Also, you can do stickers and things like that and donations through that chat as well. So there's other things you can do. But if you want to be a repeat supporter, patron or channel membership's always the way forward. All payments and donations and gifts gratefully accepted. Because I don't do it without you. My supporters are what make this channel possible. I am starving. I thought about pasta, didn't I? I mentioned what I was having an hour. All I can think about is when I can have it. Why is it I always walk away from doing a live stream hungry? Hungry like the wolf. Oh, wait. Yeah. Now, don't forget, of course, I'm here right now, as you can probably tell because you're watching me be here right now. Stupid idiot. But don't forget, of course, I will be back tonight. Just before midnight on Festa 67's Workshop's channel, which is of course Festa 67's Workshop, because Friday night is Frolic night. Colin and I get together and we do a stream on his channel, and we should hopefully be wrapping up tonight the build of our Orc Stompers, ready for painting. Should, not guaranteed. We've all been going a bit slowly lately. He's got a load of custom work to do on his, and I'm just slow, so there's nothing guaranteed about it. Let's get the mould line out from this little bit of ribbed undersuit. There we go. Damp touch of extra thin just to smooth off. Perfect. Also gets rid of very, very faint mould lines, the extra thin, so it can be used for that as well. But you've got to be careful. It only needs to be slightly damp. Ooh, super chat. Candygram Jeff, $5. Hungry? Here, I'll subsidise a tiny bit of food. Jeff, thank you very much. There should be an animated doodad popping up any moment now. Well, within 30 seconds, given the lag on YouTube. Thank you very much, Jeff. Thank you, thank you. Wait, hang on. I've just seen something. Hang on. Right, I need to do this now. Can I do this? Hang on. Okay, you're going to see the end titles, but it's not the end. Don't panic, I've just got to go and do something. One sec. Right, give me a second, I've got to do something now. This might not work. Okay, so. No, that didn't work. Hang on, wait. Apparently it's Canada Day and I didn't even notice. And you know me in Canada, this has to be done. All be standing, please. I hope you can hear the music, otherwise it's really embarrassing. There you go. Excellent. I hope you heard that music, otherwise that whole thing didn't work. The joke didn't work at all. Never mind. Happy Canada Day. I forgot it was Canada Day. Andy McLeish says kittens. What? What kittens? There you go. Pulled his massa. Happy Canada Day to my fellow Canadians. Happy Canada Day to all in Canada. Never forget Canada. Canada stands. Oh, Rabbit says, okay, fellow kittens, I'm off to do some stuff with the girlfriend's fam. I had to reread that. Happy Canada Day. And then Paul says, happy Canada Day to all my fellow Canadians. Take care, Rabbit. Her job is less glamorous than it sounds. It's really professional cat herding and cracking the whip on them to make deadlines. Oh, but his sister working in the VFX business. Jeff says, Canada Day, awesome. Kittens, the hell? Music, Fox, what music? Don't you dare. Is he still poncing around? There'll be 10 episodes next, says Andy McLeish. Yeah. No, cup of tea. Swig of tea. Right, where are we up to? I was cleaning and building. I need a bass. Bass! How low can you go? I don't ponce around. I artistically oscillate. Or is it vacillate? One of the two words. Oh, I need a backpack, don't I? Hang on. Happy Canada Day, eh? Eh? I don't ponce around. I fart arse about. I'll give you that. I still haven't been able to eat poutine yet. My local takeaway that actually does Canadian food. It's not really local, but there is a takeaway near me that does Canadian food and does indeed do poutine, but they don't deliver. It's like, oh, how can the universe? There's no reason at all, right? In the northwest of England, there's no reason at all. In the land of burgers, kebabs, Chinese, and curry, and the very occasional bit Greek and Lebanese, there's no reason at all that I should expect there to be any source of Canadian food in this part of the world. And yet, there is one available to me, and yet they don't deliver. I mean, that's the universe just thumbing a finger at me, isn't it? Thumbing a finger? That doesn't even make sense, Fox. You're an idiot. You know what I mean. Please, please, no earworms, says Wendy Hickson. Oh, Canada is not an earworm. It's the best national anthem there is. Oh, Canada. I don't know the lyrics. But it is the best theme, the best national anthem. Excuse me. And the good thing with national anthems is, if they're performed by the US Marines Marching Band, they're public domain. Because, the recording, I mean, not the piece of music, because performances of the US Marines Marching Band are considered created by a government department and therefore by default are within the public domain. All works created by. Therefore, yay, no royalties. Happy day. If you want to use national anthems in your YouTube videos, make sure you use ones from the US Marines Marching Band. Yes, copyright-free shenanigans. I do my research. Never yet had a copyright strike. I've had a couple of people try it, but that's like glitches in the automated system. Once it detected my recording of the Third Brandenburg Concerto on Moog synthesizer and decided that it was actually a piece of a recording of an actual chamber orchestra performing the Brandenburg Concerto, and I had to politely mail YouTube and say, no, the music's in the public domain, the composition's in the public domain, the performance is me, and yeah, your algorithm's a bit junky. I've never had an actual copyright strike or claim. Oh no, I have had. No, I have had one. Not a strike. It was just like, it was a claim. It was like I had the first Fallout stream I did. For some reason, like with Bethesda games, they're more than happy for you to stream their content, their games, the music in the games and everything else. They love it. You've actually got a bit on the website where it says, yes, you can do all that. Just put this bit of text in the description. But for some reason, the Fallout 4 theme got claimed. It said, yeah, this is a piece of copyright music. I don't know why, because it's a Bethesda game and Bethesda soundtrack, but so I took that off anyway. I don't use that now. That's why I used the Fallout 3 theme on Fallout Friday. But that was an automated thing, so I was just like, yeah, no, don't worry about it. Took it off. Most of the time, if you get an automated content check where the system's just picking up that you've got a piece of music or whatever, or sound, then it just sends you a thing saying, oh, this video's either this piece of music or whatever has been detected. You are now sharing the revenue for that video with the content, with the copyright owner, or we've taken monetization off. All you have to do is change the content so it's not there. But it's when an individual decides to put a copyright claim in manually, that's when things get a bit nasty. But luckily, I've never had to face that. Hopefully, I never will. When the content matching system's quite forgiving. It'll pop something up, but it'll give you options. When I put my cover of Jean-Michel Jarre's Magnetic Fields Part 1 up, for example, I made sure in the description that I explained that Jarre himself had put a thing out saying, you can freely do cover versions of all my music. I will not claim copyright on it because I prefer people to have fun, you know, making cover versions. You can't take the original music, but you can do cover versions. So I made sure I put all that information in the description. And I did get a content match, and it just said basically, because that music is actually copyrighted, you're now sharing the revenue for that video with the copyright holder. But they didn't demonetize it. It just means half of it goes towards Polydor, whoever it is. I don't know. Which is still kind of not really what Jarre said, wanted it to be, but it doesn't really matter. It's got like 300 views. I'm not exactly losing sleep over it. Stop being a princess, Fox. Oh, wait, no, carry on. Of course they don't deliver. They do lamb, chicken and beer. Ah, I see what you did there. Banned. Do. Am I even on camera? Yes. Do let me know if I go out of shot, by the way, folks, because I don't know. I have no way to know these things. Now I made a bit of a boob there because I put glue into the recesses to clean out, but I forgot to take the mould line off the top, so I'll have to remember to do that in a bit. But that's that cleaned. Backpack clean, dippity pitty pitty. So let us now commence with the assemblations. Assembularity. Right, so we have an leg. It's leg day today. It's funny how some of the legs have little notches so you get in the right place and some of them don't. It's like arbitrarily. I do wish... Yeah, I might take a spare like Tamiya extra thin brush and put it in my regular Tamiya cement bottle, because sometimes that big fat brush is not ideal. It's great if you want to cover a large area with the regular cement. Oops, it's not really sticking. But it's not great when you've got a tiny little area that needs some regular cement. I'll give that a second to set. What's chat doing? Music Fox. What music, says Panzer Cat? Oh, well, that's ages ago. Box Fox. Things that are awful about YouTube. People buy rights to super obscure music, then copyright claim random people, and the fact that there are companies who literally exist to mass file copyrights. Edward Leonard's in. Howdy, Fox. There you go. Oh. And I dribbled tea on the workbench. Never mind. There you go. It's clean now. Nobody saw that. Dee 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 dee. Dee 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 dee. Hugs to you, Edward. My friend. My friends. Right, let's get him glued onto his base. How low can you go? What about this equipment piling up on my bench here? I was being really... When I was working yesterday, I was making a conscious effort to have each piece of equipment and tool in one place, and then when I finish using it, I put it back in that place. And my bench was neat for a very short time. Now it's all gone to pot, because it's now not relevant. So there you go. So there's that one. He's got a bit of a pose to him, but it's still a bit... I've forgotten that word again with the two P's. Contra... whatever it was. It's better. It's still not very interesting. But hey. Okay, so we'll get a bit of touch on that. Like there to see. There we go. A little bit on there. Give him a second to set. Hey, how you doing, Edward? Bench and belly as always, mate. You know the questions. Now, can I sort this top of this thing yet? Move that a little bit longer. I'll bring this back while he's setting, and I'll sort his pauldron out because I forgot to. I'm going to put my. You can't see it really, but I'm going to put my equipment into little discrete piles, so it's all nice and neat and tidy-ish. And I must make the mental note. Oh, Canada. Mental note to put things back in the relevant pile when I finish using them. There we go. How hard can it be? Let's find out. So, first things first, need my knife, because I left a little nubs on his pauldron. I got all these pauldrons and built them. My thought was I'll just glue them together now, and then as I need them, I'll clean them up. And every time I do that, I get the pauldron, clean it up, and forget about the nubs underneath. I'm like, oh, flange. Je suis le flange. Oops. Can't really get a file in there. So I'm putting stuff, I'm not putting it back in its place. See, straight away I'm failing. Oh, good God, man. There's no hope for me, is there really? There really is no hope. Bayek. Happen to see the reet grand whippets and black puddings and all that happen this reet. Damp brush just to get rid of the fluff. There we go. Yeah, I mean, one advantage with these like two-part things, even though they're kind of a bit scratchy and scrapey where I've cleaned them up, they are going to be black. So, slight bit of relief there. Plus, they're meant to be a bit battered and broken and beaten anyway, but still not. I just still don't like them. I understand now, after learning some things, like I said, why they've done that, and that seems like a valid reason. I'm like, okay, I'll give them that. But, you know, fair point well made. But, oh, hello, sliding. Doesn't mean I have to like it. Squishing. Squishing. Roger, squishing now. There we go. Give that a second. Fox Moment, Doom 2016 music. Edward says, belly, water, bench, HO scenic thingy, back knackered because I pressure cleaned 3/4 of the house and I'm an old man. Yeah, that'll learn you. Like I've always said, no good deed goes unpunished. You should know that by now. I learned that when I did the garden last week and was violently ill for like 8 hours with throbbing and cold sweats and rubbishness. Yeah, that was a good deed. I'll never do that again. I'm a fox, hire a gardener. Yeah. Right, so now we've got what's the pose for this guy's arms? This guy kind of has the gun down. Okay, this guy's kind of... See, this is quite good because this guy's got a bit of an active pose. He's got he's walking with his weapon lowered because he's walking long, which looks kind of cool. Still minimal activity kind of pose, but it looks good. So, a bit of this. Touch with the big yard brush. There we go. Far too much glue. There you go. Yeah, extra thin. That arm wouldn't stay on. You're taking advantage of the viscosity. Look at the viscosity! That's that. So give that a second. This should now sit roughly like that. I tend to use the underside hand as the guiding hand, really. It's a bit better that way. Do. How are we doing for audio, guys? Is it still sounding alright? Have I gone all clippy and noisy and crusty, or is it still sounding okay? I'm not dropping out every few seconds or anything, am I? Really made me angry when I saw that the other day. I'm like, oh. Because you know what I'm like with my audio. I go to great lengths to make sure it sounds as good as possible and looks as good as possible. That's totally rubbish, Fox. What have we done there? So when it doesn't work, I can get quite frustrated. Because I don't want to sound like an amateur chud. I want to sound like I've got at least some ability to know what I'm doing. There we go. That's a bit better. Oh, no, still not quite lined up. Often with these hands and the wrists, you have to twist the weapon that way to make it line up. It's kind of counterintuitive. And also, don't move the arm, you spoon. A bit extra thin. Just touch it there to give it some more grip. You have to be careful though, because sometimes when you do that, the extra thin can also dislodge the part you've just spent ages trying to glue on. Oh, like that. So you've got to be kind of careful and wary of it. That's not gone quite according to plan. This is why I don't want to glue arms on later, you see. Right. I shall be back with you in 1 minute. I've just got to go and quickly do something because I can just hear something. Mama Fox doing something. I'll be back in like 2 minutes. Give me like 2 or 3 minutes. I'll put you on the holding music. I will return in a moment. Back in a minute. 3, 2, 1, back in the room. Hello, sorry about that. All okay still, Fox, says Paul. Cool. Yep, audio's still good. Yeah, sorry about that. Actually, let's go and quickly do something. I fully expect now my audio will go off because I think it was my lead, my microphone lead, my USB cable. I don't know. We'll see. Tell me what it's like in about 10 minutes. Anyway, where are we? Burbage, that's where we are. Right, so yeah, I had a bit of a challenge with this one. Getting the hands to line up. So I got a bit handy with the glue. Which looks... You have to remember when you look at a kit like that and you've got like the shiny where the glue's gone wrong. It's not that bad because once that's primed over it, that'll disappear. So you have to not get panicky about things like that. But I had to get a bit handy with the glue. Now if that had been painted, that would have ruined the paint job. So that's why I don't want to have the weapons separate, because it's just going to make a mess. But I can quickly sand over that and smooth it out or prime it. Hey. I was going to say something else. I was trying to figure out the best way to paint these. My first thought was to prime them with Mechanica Standard Grey, because they're going to be based, the base colour for them is going to be Mechanica Standard Grey. So I thought I could base them in Mechanica Standard Grey and then do some washes and stuff, but because I can use the rattle can, the spray can, but then I've not really got any highlights on them, and I'm not going to do edge. I don't really do edge highlights because that's nonsense. So I'm thinking now what I might do is actually, because I'm going to have to do something on the vehicle, on the tank and on the dreadnought because they're big. I don't want to do my usual dry brushing post shading effect because over 40 dudes, that's going to take forever. It is actually going to take a long time, and I'm starting to think now that although it seems counterintuitive, I think airbrushing might be the way forward for speed, because I always think of airbrushing as like it's a lot of hassle, it's a lot more effort. I've got to get the airbrush out, get the spray booth out, do all the farting around, wear a mask, put the respirator on, do all this, it gets hot, and mix all the paints. And I always see it as much easier to paint things with a brush. Much more fun. But I think when it comes to painting 40 dudes and an enormous vehicle and a dreadnought and a couple of Praetors, I think the way forward is going to be actually airbrushing. And what I'll probably do is I'll still use the rattle. Well, I don't know actually. I think what I might do, I thought then what I could do is a rattle can with the Mechanica Standard Grey and then overspray some highlight colours, you know, from above. Kind of like a zenithal highlight, but it'll actually be the highlight. But I think what I might do is actually prime them black and then go from there with the greys. That way I can get some real contrast between the dark shadowy areas and the lighter areas. Again, they're not modern Space Wolves, they're not blue coloured, they're like grey colour, so yes. Now this guy, you see, he's walking along. Now if I'd thought about this, he's the kind of guy that would actually look good if he was looking to his right. To his right. But I've just done that with that guy. So I think what I might do is as I build each one, I'll go left, right, left, right, left, right. And some of them might look ahead. I don't know. Maybe just straightforward for him. Might look alright. Possibly. Some glue in there and we'll know, won't we? Maybe a little bit to the left, but not much. Just a little bit. I never really was. I've still got some mould line on his helmet. I'll sort that out later. I'm never really keen on characters just looking straight forward, unless they're like, you know, doing something like leaping or diving or something. But when they're just walking or stood, I'm never keen on them looking just straight forward. Now, if you're them back 'em. Ooh, crow's outside shouting. Cool. Hello, crow. Crow friend. I want to be crow friend. I would love to be able to get a friendship going with our local crows. You can do it apparently if you put food out for them. The trick is, if you want to become a crow friend, you have to put food out for them. Like if they roost in a tree near your house, for example, you put food out for them, and what you do is you do it at the same time every day, and you kind of walk out, put the food down, and then you walk away, but not too far. They need to see you in context with the food, but not so close that they're not going to eat it. And then stay there for a bit and then go away. Give them a chance to see you. And you do this for long enough, they get habituated to the fact that you're the one putting the food out. And they get habituated to you not being a threat, because you can walk away and stand. And over time, if you do it right and they get to associate you with the food, you'll be able to eventually not have to walk away so far. You can put the food out and just stand around and watch them. And if you're lucky, they'll see you as a source of food, but also as a friend and not as an enemy. And crows remember faces. If you're bad to a crow, it will give you hassle for the rest of its life. It will know you and treat you badly every time it sees you. So if you're good to them, they'll remember that as well. So eventually there's people that have done this and they've got to the point where the crows start leaving them little gifts, little shiny things, and that's how you know then you are crow friend. They don't see you as a threat. They know that you're giving them the food, and they reciprocate by giving you a gift back. And it's like, yeah. And apparently they pass it on to their babies, to their children, so that over the years you become almost not quite part of the flock, but they know you're an ally to their group, and they know you feed them, so they'll happily sit around while you're in the garden. For example, they'll be like sat around near you. They won't fly away when you walk into the garden, and they'll bring you little gifts. I love that idea, because crows are so smart. But if you cross a crow, ooh, don't even begin to cross a crow. Don't, because they will hold a grudge forever. You really will. They've done experiments where, what am I doing with this guy? Pose 2A, pose 2B. Okay, I'm not doing sergeant. They've had experiments where they'll have like two people in a test area. One will take out food for them, for crows, and be nice and won't be unfriendly at all. And another person will go out and do unfriendly gestures like making noises and trying to scare them away. And they wear masks when they do it, so they can tell, specific looking masks. And they don't want to permanently knacker themselves with the crows for real, so they always wear a mask. And what they do is the crows eventually get to the point where when the person when somebody goes out wearing the mask of the person that's friendly to them, they don't do anything, or they either greet them or they don't do anything. They just sit around. But when somebody walks out wearing the mask of the person that was cruel to them, or not friendly, they mob them, they attack them, they swoop on them, and they shout a lot. They alarm call. 13, 14, 15. So they remember and they know, and if you treat them badly, they will hold that grudge. Crows and corvids are awesome. And I'd love to become a crow friend, but sadly I don't know where our local crows roost, and we're not really keen on feeding birds, because we used to feed the birds all the time, but we've got squirrels that just take all the seeds and plant them in the garden, and all kinds of stuff grows, and also it just attracts mice as well. We've got wood pigeons which throw the food everywhere, which then attracts mice, so it's like ugh. Because of the dumbass wood pigeons that we love, but they are stupid, it means that we can't really do bird food anymore. I just said beard. I just went all Zifranca, went beard. Beard. I'm not even looking at what parts I'm cutting off here. What am I doing now? What have I done wrong here? 13, 14 and 15. I've got no idea what I've just cut off the sprue. 13, 14, 15. I've just cut off part 40. I don't even know what that was. Hello. Yeah, I don't know what I've just cut off there. 13, 14, 15. There we go. That's 13. I've got too many legs. 13, 14 and 15. So that's that one. Because I've no idea what that is. It's completely the wrong part. You spoon. Oh well, put it over there for safety. I think that's part 19. Goes with the next one. Put that there. 15. 16 and 17. So you imagine that though, becoming friends with your local murder of crows. It'd be cool that they come out and just greet you and stuff. It'd be awesome. I've seen videos of people who've become so friendly with them that, you know, the crows will actually fly out and they'll happily sit on their shoulder, or they'll be sat at a table in the garden and the crow will be on the table and just chatting to them, and it's like, oh God, that'd be awesome. That'd be so cool. Animals are awesome. Creatures are so cool. We're boring, but animals are awesome. Right, what are we doing? So let's get these bits cleaned up. We'll probably make one more. See how we get on. Let's have a look. Crows are basically dwarves. They like shiny things and hold grudges forever, says Box Fox. Absolutely. And I'm not reading that next comment from Box Fox because I didn't see any of the words in that sentence. No such creature exists. It did get to the point one year, because we used to feed the birds in our garden every year, all the time. We used to feed the birds, and the wood pigeons got so used to us that when you first started out feeding them, you walk out into the garden through the patio door, and all the wood pigeons just fly off because they're scared of anything. Wood pigeons are just scared of, like, you know, grass. So they'd all fly away, but eventually over the years it got to the point where you could walk out into the garden, they look up and see you and just carry on eating, because that's all they do. And that was kind of cool, because we do like the wood pigeons. They're just dumb and chaotic. And it got to the point one year where there was a baby wood pigeon with all its like fuzzy feathers, because it had all its downy feathers on. It looked like a really badly made soft plush toy. There was this sort of baby wood pigeon sat on the bird feeder. Somehow it got onto the bird feeder, and it was sat there, and I walked past the bird, literally like 2 feet from it, and it just kind of watched me. It didn't fly away, it didn't run, it was like, yeah, whatever. It kind of looked like a mad psychopath. I mean, we did call it the psycho pigeon, psycho baby, because it looked a bit manic, like it wanted to eat my soul or something. But yeah, it got to the point where they wouldn't bother with us at all. And that's wood pigeons, they're dumb. It was a brick. So yeah, I'm always jealous when you see these people and they have birds in the garden, and the birds will literally just come down to like sit on the table in front of them and hang out, and I'd be like, oh, that'd be so cool. I like birds. Birds are awesome. I'm not a bird spotter, but I do like birds. I like nature. Nature's good. As long as it's not trying to kill me, nature's good. This rule does not available to viewers in Australia. Nope. Do. I always remember when I was coming home one night from, I think I'd been out to the shops, or it's been somewhere. It was late at night anyway. Probably been to the shop for something. And I was walking down the road, and this fox was coming along the other way towards me. And I got to the corner where I turned right, and it was on the other side of the road, and it just crossed over, and I just stood there and looked at it, and it crossed over and walked up to me and just started sniffing at my feet. Then it started like nipping on my bottom of my jeans and pulling them a little bit. I'm like, will you stop doing that? You're going to knacker my jeans. And it looked at me, and it just kind of sat there and nibbled on my jeans. So I kind of walked away and carried on my journey, and then it followed me, and it jumped on the wall, the garden walls that I was walking along, and just walked along all the garden walls following me. Like, fascinating by. And I was like, wow, this is the best thing ever. I do like it when little things like that happen. You suddenly have this moment with nature. Who's mailing me? Does it involve money? No. Tell us what you think, says Amazon Associates. Give me more money and I'll tell you many things. Pay me more. Talking of that, by the way, don't forget, of course, another way you can help support this channel if you don't already. Don't forget, I do have Amazon stores in the UK, the US and Canada. So if you need to pick up some modelling equipment and good stuff for yourself, if you're going onto Amazon, you're from any of those countries, and you think, oh, I need to pop onto Amazon to get X, Y or Z, The links are in the description below this video. Just go and have a quick look on my Amazon store and see if what you need is on there, because you never know. If it is, get it from there. It doesn't cost you any extra, but it does make me a little bit of money because I get some income based on that. As an Amazon associate, I earn from related products. I have to say that. But yeah, use those links if you're in Canada, US or UK. If there's something you want to get off Amazon and it's not in my store, because there's a lot of things that are not in my store, then all you need to do is drop me an email or drop me a message or contact me in any way you want to, and just say, hey Fox, here's this product on Amazon, can you put it into your store? And it'll take me like 2 seconds. And I can add it and then you can buy it. It costs you exactly the same, and again, I'll get some scratch from that. So don't forget to check out my Amazonium stores, available in all good Amazon websites in US, UK and Canada. Your mileage may vary. Objects are larger in the mirror than they appear, and so on and so on. You know what I mean. That's that one done. I do find the cleanup on these guys quite quick, which is quite nice. I think mostly because this Mark 6 armour is very simple compared to... is it Mark 6? No, Mark 7 armour. I forgot which one it is now. Does it even say in the thing? 6. Mark 6, yeah. I got confused because I know Space Wolves are the 6th Legion, so I was thinking, am I getting confused with the 6th Legion, Space Wolves, and Mark 6? Yeah, like Primaris armour and stuff takes longer to clean up because there's a lot more like detail and panel lines and things, but on these they're quite simple. Done, no problem. Quite enjoying this, and I do like the look of these compared to the classic kind of Space Marines you got just before Primaris came in. You know, the Mark 7, I guess they are, or 8. But these are my first ever beakies. I have to tell you that. Never made beakies before. Well, I have now. I always used to think the beakies looked dumb, derpy. And they kind of did in the old models, but in these ones, the helmets look really cool. The Corvus helmets. They would have to come up with a lore reason at the Corvus pattern helmets. Corvid, you know, crows, bird, yes. There's always a reason. Make sure I've got that panel line removed. Not quite. Oh, got to drill me barrel. Drill out the barrel. Where are we up to? Stumpy Marine Superiority, says Box Fox. Pretty sure it wanted you to follow it. What wanted me to follow it? Oh, the fox, you mean? Oh, yes. No, I think it just probably... I think I'd actually been to the pub. And I probably had a kebab on the way home. And it probably smelled like... Or a burger or something. And it probably smelled burger on me. Or kebab or something, I don't know. We probably wanted a bit of that action going on. I'll never know. It's gorgeous, though. And there was one sat in the garden last summer. It was quite nice because I was in a bit of a bad place last summer because Mama Fox had been in hospital. She was in that hospital and everything was going a bit wrong. And I was in a quite a sad place. I looked out the kitchen window one day and there's this big massive fox just sat right in the middle of the garden, just sat there looking around. It was being mobbed. It was being absolutely mobbed and mercilessly hassled by magpies. They were swooping at it and shouting at it. It clearly wasn't welcome for the magpies. But it was just sat there. It wasn't doing anything. It just sat there having a think. Gorgeous. And that cheered me up massively, and that was like my happy moment last summer. I was like, ah, brilliant, there you go. The universe is telling me everything's fine, don't stress. Here's a dirty great big fox in your garden. Woohoo! But yeah, it was quite funny. Just being absolutely mobbed by all the magpies. They were like, they're not having any of it. It's quite funny now though, because we've obviously got cats in the area, and there's a big family of magpies that hang around in our garden, in the local gardens, and They do the alarm call anyway. When you hear the magpies going, all that, that's usually an alarm call because there's something nasty going on. And I realised every time they start doing all that, and if they're shouting constantly, it normally means there's a cat nearby and they're trying to scare it off, or something nearby. And it's got quite, in the summer months, what I tend to do is when I hear that, sometimes I'll just go outside and I'll wander down the garden and I'll see a cat slinking around, trying to be all stealthy, but of course the magpies have completely broken its stealth. It's like, wow, your Khajiit skills are terrible, dude. So I'll scare the cat off anyway, because, you know, it's a cat. I'll scare the cat off and the magpies instantly shut up. And I like to think the magpies kind of associate me with scaring the cat, so I've been doing it for years. So that when they start doing the alarm calling, it's only really when there's a cat in our garden. Like if the cat's next door, they don't seem to alarm call as much. So I wonder if perhaps they've associated a cat in my garden with alarm calls equals me going out and scaring the cat off. That'd be quite cool. It's not so much, that's like a bat signal, isn't it? There's a cat in that garden, right, make a load of noise, like I'll come out and scare the cat away. Yay! So they must live in one of the trees in our garden. That's why they don't call when it's next door, maybe. I don't know. I'd like to think they actually associate them shouting a lot with me coming out. Maybe a magpie friend. I may not be crow friend, but I might be a magpie friend. I do like magpies. Magpies are cool. They have a habit of landing on my bedroom windowsill outside and like walking up and down the windowsill, like dragging their feathers across the window. Because only little, it's like that wide, and they're big fat magpies, and you can hear them scratching about on the windowsill, jumping around and turning around. It's like, come on, lads. And it used to be in the past, like I always used to like waking up in the morning and you could hear the blackbirds singing because they're very beautiful. This is the way they sing. And magpies were like, lager, lager, and I used to hate that. But as I've got older, it's like, you know what? I kind of like the cheekiness of the magpies now. I don't mind hearing magpies shouting a lot if I'm trying to chill out or trying to get to sleep. But if I'm like woken up in the morning by magpies shouting, I don't really mind it now because they're kind of fun. They're like, in the same way that orcs in 40k are like football hooligans but like likeable. Magpies are just kind of like a bit yobbish, but they're kind of endearing. Very smart again. Corvids, isn't it? Let's have a look. Fox was being harassed by magpies. Fox sat there doing a fox signal. I'm doing a fox. Edward Lenner says, hello Andy, just clearing up a half bottle of spilled shade. Oh, what did you spill? Was it Agrax Earth Shade or Null Oil? Do you need some kind of holding device? Do you need to get Colin to make it, or do you need to print, if you've got a printer, a holding device of some kind? Yeah. Yeah, there's nothing worse than spilling. Well, there's only one thing worse than spilling a shade. Apart from the fact that if you do spill a shade, you can't get it out of anything. If I spilt shade on this cutting mat, there would forever be a shade coloured stain on the cutting mat. You can't get rid of it. It's insidious. But there's only one thing that's worse than spilling shade, and that's knocking over a bottle of Microset or Microsol. For one specific reason, because whenever you, in your life, it's guaranteed, if you should happen to knock over a bottle of Microset or Microsol, it will only happen when you're in the middle of doing decals on a kit, and it will only happen when that's your last bottle of Microset and Microsol, and for whatever reason everyone is out of stock. Because Microset and Microsol are those products that are universal, you can get them anywhere, but for some reason in the UK sometimes they're hard to get hold of. Everybody seems to be sold out. For a long time I had to order mine from America, Amazon online in America, because I couldn't get them in the UK anywhere. Now everybody's got them now, but it's always the case that whenever you spill Microset or Microsol, it's your last bottle, you're in the middle of doing a load of decals, and nobody in your country has got any in stock, and you're like, oh, You have to go on Amazon and spend like £1,000 shipping from God knows where. It's always the way. It's like Easy Line. Getting Easy Line here in the UK is a nightmare because most people don't stock it. Get it from the US, and it's not often on Amazon, so it's like finding somewhere that sells it. It's like pain in the bum. Where's me? Where? There it is. Scrapey, scrapey, scribing tool. Just re-scribing around the collar of his arm where the mould line had a bit of a bleb. These scribing tools are an absolute godsend. Sometimes if you've got like a little step, say a bit of plastic that goes like that, like a little step in your like that kind of thing, sometimes you have like a step. Oh, bit properly fucked. You've got, say, a step like that, and there's a mould line coming right along the middle and goes up. You might have a little bit of that mould line left, and if you sand it, that step goes away and gets sanded smooth. So what you can do is you can fake it by re-scribing a line where the step is. You can't quite replace the step, but your eye is tricked into thinking with the little bit of a groove that you scrape in. Your eye is tricked into thinking that, in fact, the step is intact, when all you've really done is replace a little tiny part of the step with a panel line. Your eye's convinced enough. It's all about deception. Model making. It's all about lies and deception. A bit like politics. Moving on. Edward says, Bealtan green, and I spilled as I was reaching for the holding device. Yeah. Box Fox says he's downloaded a mod that puts Nazim from Skyrim in a cage for his crimes. Yes, I've got something. I've got one better than that. See, I've got Inigo. Do you often go to the Cloud District? No, of course you don't. What am I thinking? Flipping Nazim. I've got Inigo, and Inigo actually starts fights with Nazim. He doesn't actually fight him, but he just has a go at him. He just gives him a mouthful every now and then. He just shouts at him and tells him off. It's quite good. Inigo does not like Nazim. That's the best bit about Inigo. He doesn't like Nazim at all. Do you often come to the Cloud District? La 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 la. Oh, there's some news for you. I have had a... I love a swing tea. I have now had a... I'll start again. Good God. I have now had occasion to avail myself, where I could not before, of Star Trek Strange New Worlds, or whatever it's called, the one with Captain Pike, and Star Trek Prodigy, the animated series. And they're both brilliant. I'm liking Strange New Worlds because it's a return to the episodic, Monster of the Week format. It's really well done. And I instantly know more about, I feel more of a connection to all the characters in the first, 4 or 5 episodes of Strange New Worlds than I have in all the seasons of Discovery and all the seasons of Picard. Yeah. Like Discovery, I still can't name half the crew. But yes, so I'm really enjoying that. But yeah, I watched the first 10 episodes of Star Trek Prodigy, the animated one for kids, and it's really good. It's really quite good. The style is, it's like, it makes like Star Wars Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels look like half-assed projects. It looks a billion times better, and it looks really nice, and it's great. I quite enjoyed it. The only complaint I had, I don't want to give any spoilers, but they did feature some well-known real Star Trek characters in one of the episodes, and I won't spoil it, but they all looked terrible. Apart from one, they all looked terrible. They made one character look angry, which should be impossible. They made one character... Well, I can't say too much without giving loads of stuff away, but they bring in a load of well-known characters, and they all looked terrible. They've done a brilliant job with Janeway. She looks fantastic. They've done a brilliant job with another character who I won't name it because, again, spoilers. But the rest of them They just look terrible. But then I had to say, well, yeah, but look at the real world actors in Star Wars compared to the Clone Wars versions. They look different. It's like, yeah, but they at least looked kind of likeable. But the 3 or 4 characters they bring out in one episode in Prodigy, they just make all of these 3 characters that you know and love look really unlikable. And it's like, wow, that doesn't look like X at all. It's just no. But yeah, no, it's really good. Anyway. Enjoying Strange New Worlds as well, very much, says EC Idaho. Also, welcome, EC Idaho. Fox has been availed. Someone quickly get the drapes. Ooh, I like a nice drape. Fox, try the model railway specialist shops for Easy Line, says Panzer. It's just in the UK. It's not a lot of places have it. Even the specialists, a lot of them will have the ammo by MiG equivalent stuff, but that's like 3 foot long. You get like about a metre of it with the ammo stuff, which is not enough. The Easy Line, you get like about 30 metres. It lasts you forever. I've had mine for about 8 years. It's just not running out. Hello all, hope everyone is well. Hi Fox, no wait, no Smurf song humming Fox. I don't even know the Smurfs. I can't stand the Smurfs. I wouldn't know their song if it bit me on the ass. I did, however, find myself yesterday going on, you know, like when, I said this the other day, when something happens or in a conversation or you see something and it sends you off on a Google adventure. Well, that happened yesterday with Wombles. I don't know what, I can't remember what it was now, but after I was like doing something and like 2.5 hours later, I suddenly found myself realising I'm sitting here reading about Wombles and watching Womble videos. I was like, what? I don't even know how I got here. Google. What? Yeah, I don't even know how that happened. That's that's partially an interesting pose, but again, it's just kind of standing there. It's that thing of one leg up like that, which is what I did with my Dreadnought, but when you've only got 5 different Marines, you kind of want to break up a little bit. But hey, yes, it was Wombles yesterday. I'm like, how the hell have I got here? I don't know how this happens to me. I really don't. Spoil it, we won't be watching it probably, says Fox. No, I can't assume. Because people watching this can be in all different countries. And it's all on different subscription services, so I can't make any assumptions as to who got what and who hasn't got what. So I won't spoil anything. But yeah, it's really good. If you're able to watch it, it's really good. It's really nicely voice acted. It looks fantastic. It looks absolutely fantastic. It does look awesome. There's some shots in it that are almost like, is that like just for a kid's computer, or is that actually like, that could be a shot from a live action show. Some of it, you're like, wow, some of it's really that good. But I had to keep reminding myself, it's very stylized, like Clone Wars and Rebels was quite stylized, but I got used to that. To the point, I tell you what, to the point that I got so used to how Cad Bane looks in Rebels and in Clone Wars, that when I actually saw him in the Book of Boba Fett, actually like a live action, I don't like that. No, I don't like it. No, it's not right. Because it didn't look like the CGI version. It was all wrong. And that's crazy, really, because, you know, CGIs are supposed to be stylized, but no, I did not like live action Cad Bane at all. My brain's like, nope, no thank you, .jpeg. This guy's not wanting to sit flat. It's a bit annoying. There we go. Yeah, my brain's like, no thank you, .jpeg. Nope, that's not Cad Bane. No, that's not my Cad Bane. While he's drying, I shall clean up. I'll put the bits there. Put that there. I'll clean up this guy's belt gaps. Right, folks, I have to head off to work. Take care all, and I shall catch some of you in the frolic later on, says Panzer. Take care, Panzer. Thank you for coming in. My friend, see you soon. Maybe see you later. Yee. I'm going to stop soon anyway, because it's 7 o'clock. 7:30. Need to go make some dinners. Need to make Mama Fox a haddock risotto. And that. And finish doing the washing up that I started, like, half of. Now I can just about get to his underarm area, so I can just very gently scrape away my glue bead. If, like me, you hate doing filler, just use the squeeze method Get your glue in there. An extra thin is brilliant for this. Get your glue in there, squeeze the two bits together, let a little bead of glue splooge out. And then when it's dried, after about an hour, you can go back in and scrape that bead away. And the glue's all evaporated away. So it's basically that splooge is just polystyrene. So you scrape it away and you've got a nice sealed gap with no visible marks. Much easier than using fillers, because I hate using fillers. I'm far too lazy for fillers. It's just nonsense. Such nonsense. Right, let's get this one done, and then we can call it a day, I think. Do 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 do. Biddy 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 biddy. But before we go, obviously, any questions? Anyone want to ask me anything? Please feel free, because I've kind of run out of stuff to talk about now. Ask me anything, you know how it works. Get these arms. How does this guy's arms go? This is... Wait a minute. That guy did like that. Oh, Fox, you're an idiot. I built that guy with his arms like that down. That's completely the wrong pose. He's supposed to look like that. I just built him and somehow I just read the wrong thing and gave him a walking along. Oh no, hang on. Which one is he supposed to look like? He's supposed to look like... I'm not even sure which one. Oh no, oh no, I've done him right. No, I was reading the wrong one. Sorry. No, yes, I thought I was building the wrong one there. I thought I'd built him in completely the wrong pose, which was fine. It still looks good. I do like the fact these guys aren't mono pose, but I think they are quite limited in their actual poses. Because you've got both arms, obviously. You've got the weapon placement in the arms. But it's better than being mono pose, I can't deny that. It's like, I think if it was a squad of, I think if you basically bought a squad of 10 tactical marines in this Mark armour, because if you, I get the impression when you buy this, as I said, I think it's going to be the same sprue twice. So you're basically buying 5 guys twice. I think if you were given the option of, if you could buy it as a set of 10 guys where it's like 10 separate figures, that would be awesome, because then you could have varied poses. But when they give you just 5 and it's like times 2, they really should give you wildly different poses for all of them, I think. It'd be the right thing to do. Okay, make sure that's lined up. That's not lined up. That arm's not right. Something not right here. This one's being tricky. Let's push that arm up a little bit. There we go. Yeah, just that fat glue gives you a few minutes just to be able to wiggle all the bits around without them all falling off instantly. So you can still like wiggle the arms around a little bit. I can move them around and make sure things fit. I can move the arm around in the shoulder, twist the gun round, things like that. But it's not all going to just fall apart instantly. It's going to hold together long enough for me to make those changes and adjustments. Oh, and then it's going to fall apart because I put too much glue on that. Making me look stupid now, aren't you? There we go, that's better. Just adjusting. Perfect. Perfect. I just put a little bit too much extra thin on that one and it got rid of all the fat glue and lost its grip. So you've got to be thoughtful about it. You can't just slap it anywhere. But it does give you that freedom to adjust, and that's why I struggle with resin figures like my Deathcore Krieg resin figures, because you literally go ptunk, you glue the arm on and it's in a position, that's it, fixed. And I imagine with Deathcore Krieg you've got the same thing, 2 separate arms and the gun with the hands on it. I can't glue the arms on without knowing where the rifle's going to be, and I can't put the rifle in place because it's super glue, and it's like you've got no room for movement, so you have to get it right. That's why I really don't like doing resin Deathcore Krieg. Right, so this guy is now looking which way. This guy's got a nub on the bottom of his head. I forgot that bit. You spoon. Nub be gone. There we go. So this guy is looking, he's pointing his gun over there. Which way should I have his head going? He looks like he's actually firing though, so it makes sense for him to be looking down the barrel of his gun, I suppose. A bit more. So we'll put that head looking down that side. But I've got to make sure when I'm building these guys, I'm going to have them all out on the bench so that I don't end up with the same guy in the same pose with the same head direction all the time. I'm going to put a little bit of a tilt on his head because he's trying to look down the sight or look where he's shooting. A little bit. Yeah, so I'll have all these, when I'm doing these guys, I'll have them all out in front of me so that I don't end up doing like this particular, this is pose number 3, every time having him looking that way, because then it'll be like 10 guys all looking exactly the same, which is a bit rubbish. I need to clean this pauldron up, don't I? I forgot about that. Blah, 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 blah. This pauldron's not too bad. The gap isn't quite so big, so... Oh, I've not done a backpack for him. There's a backpack as well. Gosh darn it, Fox. What time are we on? 20 minutes I've got. Let's get these done. 20 Minuten. Right, cleaning now, sir. Fat glue, says Andy. Jeff says, I had an invitation to go to Angie Mayhew, Peter's widow, farm for a 4th of July potluck, but it has been cancelled due to extreme heat and dryness. Double sadness. Ooh. Well, as long as they uncancel it at some point. To say you've been invited to that is amazing. That's a rather privileged thing to be invited to. Well, jelly. I'm sure they'll reschedule it. Obviously, it's not the 4th of July, but I'm sure they'll reschedule it some other time just for a general. Or maybe they won't because it's 4th. I don't know. Hope they do. We'll get this one done, then we'll call it a day. I think, given how long how slow my building speed at the minute has been, 2.5 hours, let's say, take out half an hour for waffle and not building, 2.5 hours for 3 dudes, that's not bad for me. I just need to get fast because otherwise I put 600 hours into a build and then I can't charge 600 hours because that wouldn't work. When you're building anything, any kind of model for sale, not for commission, but anything like this where you're doing it for sale, or maybe commission as well, you've got to get a balance between how many hours it takes you to do it and how much you charge per hour. Like UK minimum wage is, let's say, round it down to £8 an hour. So if it takes me 100 hours to build and paint a model, I should be charging £800 for it, or if not more. Because otherwise I'm earning less than somebody flipping burgers at McDonald's. That's not the way it works. So, if I take 100 hours to build something, if I can then make it take, say, 50 hours to build it, I could still charge £8 an hour if I wanted to, minimum wage, or I could actually decide that I want to charge more than minimum wage. So So the quicker you can get something built and painted, doesn't mean you can charge less, but it means that you can get more for what you've done. Like if I decide that I don't want to work for minimum wage, and let's say I want to charge £16 an hour, equivalent for my work, then a build of 100 hours, nobody's going to pay £1,600, are they? Not really. Not without me being a world famous model maker or something. So that's where you say, okay, well that'd be stupid, so why don't I do it in 50 hours and see if I can charge the same and I'll get more profit out of it. It's fortunately, when you run things as a business, yeah, this is the way you have to think. Because this isn't just a hobby for me, this is literally my business. I fill out my tax returns every year as model making guru, so it's literally my business. So it's quite tricky. Becoming world famous will really help with the prices, because then I could just charge lots, but I can't. So. Which is why it's important just to do your best work, but do it as quickly as possible. Because the kind of prices that I can ask for, I'll be underselling myself if I take thousands of hours to make something. Right, that's that bit. Clean that up in a second with some glue. Tube scraping. Gentlemen, scrape your tubes. There we go. Got to get rid of this line on there. I hear the blackbirds outside. I'm in a good mood. They always put me in a good mood. Mama Fox is up and about watching telly downstairs. She went for a snooze and she actually got herself up and went downstairs without me having to hassle her to get back out of bed again. Most impressive. Right, so again I've just scribed inside those recesses, so I'll just quickly get the damp but not wet brush. Oh, there's too much. Moist but not wet. Get rid of all the crap in there. There'll be a dark wash in there anyway, but it doesn't do any harm to clean it up. That should be alright. Clean off this pauldron, which I think isn't looking too bad anyway. Lid on the glue. Maybe one day I'll get invitations to famous people's things. One day when I've got like 10 million subscribers, I have to actually do some content though, I suppose, don't I, first? When I've got 10 million subscribers and I'm a household name. I won't be. But my plan one day is that I have enough subscribers on this channel and it makes me enough money that I can make Model Making Guru not just me. Because my idea, my long-term plan was that I am not the Model Making Guru, but rather the channel is the Model Making Guru. The website is the Model Making Guru. And the idea is that you have multiple people giving you information, rather than just one person, because I'm no guru. Which is why I always say it's Fox from Model Making Guru, not Fox the Model Making Guru. But unfortunately, you know, that hasn't happened yet. So it doesn't really seem like that. But it would be nice one day to get to the point where I've got like, I can say to different people, hey, do you want to come and like just make content for the channel? Here's some money. It's not just me making videos then. And it's other people giving their opinions from different parts of the hobby. That'll be my idea anyway. Get that glued on and then we'll clean that with a bit of glue. Little bit of glue, what you gonna do? So I'll get these glued on, and then we should call it an show, and I should go and make many food to put into my enormous mouth hole. All the mouths on my face will be filled with delicious foodstuffs. And by delicious, I mean cheap and nasty. I'm missing a pauldron, aren't I? Yes. Yes, I am. The pauldron, it is missing. Oh no. Get to the pauldron. Right, let me find a pauldron. What pauldron number is he? Pauldron number, cashier number 36. Cashier number 36, please. There you go, 36. So that would be my long-term plan for the Model Making Guru channel. I'm not supposed to be the Model Making Guru. It's just I can't really start with multiple people. But that's the idea. Of course, it's just taking a lot longer to actually get there than I'd envisioned. If that makes sense. You know what I mean. Oops. Ow. That wasn't stabity. Don't get excited. There you go. Lovely. Lovely. Lovely, lovely pauldrons. All attached and nice. There you go. Lovely jubbly. I'll just put a bit of extra thin dampness onto his grandma bobble hat pauldron, just to smooth off the rough bit. There we go. It probably looks fine once it's got a coat of primer. It's difficult to know when you do that kind of thing, when you've got like sanding mess and stuff, or little scratches and stuff. It's difficult to know exactly how it's going to look when it's got primer on it and paint on it. In most cases, when you've got little marks or even little panel gaps and seam lines, you get a feeling for how much is going to be seen. Like sometimes I can look at a little gap and think, it's not brilliant, but I know it's going to be hidden once the primer comes on it. And you kind of learn to judge what you need to worry about and what you can forget about. I just need to quickly clean this guy's backpack because he had a load of scrunge on it, didn't he? Let's do it with the scrapey tool. I left the mould line on there, didn't I? On the raised bits, there we go. Perfect. And sometimes you can look at a scratch in a bit of plastic and think, yeah, that's it. I can see it now because it's shiny plastic and it's got glue over it and it's shiny, even more shiny. But I know once the primer gets on there and it's got paint on it, it'll be fine. You kind of get a feel for it. Right, so there we go. I have built 3 Spacemans. Yay! I've not done all the extra bits on them yet. I've not put all the, the pouches and stuff. I won't be doing that till I've built everybody. But I don't think that's bad. 3 dudes, 2.5 hours, given the fact I've been working hard, being pretty on telly and everything else. What would be the plural of guru? Gurus, I guess. Guru with an S. Gurus. Gurai, says Candy Girl. I think it's just gurus. I don't know. But that's my plan anyway. I wouldn't be. That's what I say. That's why I always say I'm Fox from, I'm not I'm Fox the. I never say I'm Fox the Model Making Guru because I know Jack. I just know a few random things. Anyway, so there we go. I've built 3 space dudes. I have many, many more to build. I'll carry on building these tonight, and I'll be building these again when we. Oh no, it's Stomper time tonight, and I'll be building the Stomper tonight. Tomorrow I will probably do this again instead of Cyberpunk. Again, just while I need to get all this stuff built up. So expect that. I've not scheduled it in yet, but I think I've already rescheduled the Cyberpunk stream, so I'll get one of these scheduled in for tomorrow. So it'll be 5 o'clock again tomorrow. And we'll carry on. And then, of course, I will see you tonight on Colin's channel, Festa 67's workshop for the Friday Frolic, where Colin and I'll be working on our Stompers. And then I'll see you on Sunday for the Warhammer Sunday, probably about 5 o'clock. I will at some point get back to the 3 o'clock street, 3 till 6 slot. Just right now, looking after Mama Fox, it's hard to take that 3 slot, so I'm having to start at 5. But we'll get back there eventually. But I shall say thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, of course, if you want to support the channel, you can go to patreon.com/modelmakingguru and become a patron, or you can press the join button underneath any of my videos to become a channel member. All support is gratefully acknowledged. It helps keep me alive. No, it helps keep this channel alive. It keeps me in business and keeps me going. So thank you very much for all my patrons and channel members. I will see you this evening on Colin's channel, so I shall see most of you there. Don't forget, of course, to like and subscribe. I'll be doing a few of these ad hoc as and when I get a chance. I'll be like, right, I need to do some building. I've got an hour, I'll do a live stream. So make sure you've hit that notification bell so you don't miss any proper last minute live streams. These are all scheduled in, but sometimes I will just start a stream without warning. So make sure you like and subscribe and hit that bell. Until then, take care of yourselves, everybody. Thank you very much for watching. I shall say, go make something awesome. Like these. Go be awesome, as you always are. You always are anyway. And until next time, I shall say, take care of yourselves. Adios, amoebas.